Public Works.
Do you wanna go back through every one again, or you just got specific? Well, I guess we really need to go, we didn't go through every one, yeah.
Let me just get everything pulled out here.
At least hit, at least bring them up or mention all of your departments, see if there's any, if you got any questions on them. County Planning Department on page 53, start with that. Other than maybe salaries, I don't think there's really, was there anything else?
Let me get resituated here, hold on.
Okay. We're gonna increase the permit revenue. but
Yes, I
think
had
other than that-
suggested that we increase the revenue on the permits to
Yeah.
100,000.
Yeah,
It was a minor amount. That
yeah,
come-
everything else,
Yeah.
I think was,
And I will say that, and I mentioned it last week, we will advertise for a building inspector, probably the first of the year, okay? And that's, as it stands now in our salary schedule, is $52,000. I have a feeling that that's gonna be hard to attract anybody at that salary. That ties into a larger discussion about salaries, so just keep that on the radar. But we did put it in there for 52.
too. Any other line items or anything else on planning? Page 53? Good? Okay. Parks is where? 89, page 90, actually.
So,
I didn't take any notes last week extra notes on that last week. Was everything?
one thing we were tight on that we may want to increase even a little bit more was the meeting, travel, and dues. So, we sent our park supervisor to a certification class for playground inspection, and it's something that we need to do regularly. We can hire that out, but we felt like it would be worthwhile to have him go. I don't know if that'll end up in additional like recertifications every year. We also send him to the Missouri Parks and Recreation yearly conference. I think that's down in Springfield typically. It may rotate around the state. Right now, we've spent $2,454.33 this year. So just maybe a small additional ask of bring it up to $2,500 instead of $2,200.
Okay. Oh, this was new just this year, because your original budget was $1,400 this year.
Yeah, the class, to get him through this class, and that might just be a one-time expense that isn't gonna be recurring. But I feel like training is gonna be, as we go forward with that department training, just keeping that up to date is gonna be pretty important, so.
Have we ever talked State Tech about maybe doing something with parks and grass and different things? I know they've got different programs. I don't know if we ever talked about seeing if they wanted to let their students work on stuff out there, or possibly try different stuff, turf management, whatever.
I don't think they have a parks program. I know they have turf and grounds management, and that's
It's almost a turf park.
Golf courses.
But no
They,
turf.
It
They-
is kind of golf. We got frisbee golf, disc golf, whatever it's called.
I mean, it includes some landscaping items. I mean, it's.
So we don't
it's-
give you a whole lot for parks, so
No.
I'm just trying to find other ways to help.
I think the overall discussion, can we bring more partners into what we do? The answer is yes. We do utilize J.C. Parks for advice on different things, assistance, whatever it is. We do have that partnership there. State Tech is a great resource for for us. Can we bring them in to do some things for us? Probably. I have not investigated that.
So,
Who did the planning for the parking lot there?
We did it ourselves.
And who's
Yeah.
we?
Owen Kleppel, and
Who
Spencer
came from?
Coons, who came from State Tech.
There you go. Always gotta know who we
Yeah.
is, you know?
And so, yeah, we've hired some of our more recent hires over the past couple of years have been from State Tech.
Right.
So building a relationship there would be good. Can we implement some of what they do? Can they come here and do some work with us? Probably, looking on down the road, if there's additions to our park system, maybe then that would be a good opportunity there. But it's one of those things you just gotta reach out and have a
Right.
conversation.
Reach out, maybe one day you need a berm or a mound moved. Maybe they would like to do that with their heavy equipment people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
so it's something we'll look into, yes, definitely.
You okay with that amount,
Yeah.
2,500?
Right.
On meeting,
Okay, and then,
travel dues, okay.
and then the only other item, and we talked about it last time, make sure we carry forward the $755
Right.
donation.
I think
for
I
the-
did that, I think I already did that.
Okay.
Under park maintenance, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
right. Pretty sure I already entered that in, so. Okay. Anything else on parks? Sure. I know salary will be the big discussion. Should we knock off capital first?
Let's get through everything first, and then I can tell you
Oh, okay.
where I feel I'm at on salaries. I know other departments have had the conversation last day and whatever, so.
Okay.
On the road and bridge side, 211.
I know that you sent your original memo, I think we changed, I think I did go ahead and pencil that in.
Which-
From last week.
Under which, the different items we asked for.
Yeah, I think so. 'Cause I don't think there was any, well, I guess it wouldn't hurt to go through all of them.
We'll just go through,
Yeah, that's
tool and shop supplies, that's 53295.
what page?
94. The road and bridge budget starts on 93 is all the revenues, and then 94 and 95 is the, 94 and 95 is all the expenses.
I had asked that we bump that from 55,000 to 65,000. We had submitted 95,000, took out the 4-post lift, but we need a little more funds to outfit 2 mechanics with the tool chest and everything else.
Okay with that?
Yeah, we were doing something different before too. You're trying to just get the tools at the shop instead of for the individual allowance or something.
Right now, they get a stipend, so what we would propose, and it ties into the salary a little bit too. And we'll pay the stipend until those come in, and then the stipend will go away. We'll still have one stipend, we have the 3 mechanics, the supervisor and the 2 mechanics. Next year, we'll outfit the 3rd with the tool chest and everything, and so that stipend will go away also.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I think it's a good move.
Okay.
County owned equipment.
County owned, yes, and it'll be engraved with the number, and so it can't really walk off or anything like that. They'll be locked and everything, so. This is good going forward. That way, we can have everything that they need to do heavy equipment maintenance. So,
Question?
No, I'm waiting for another
Okay.
item here to pop up.
Highway maintenance facility
I was actually,
Which
I'm just
one?
curious on fuel.
on fuel.
Fuel.
The numbers, fuel has gone down. Just the overall cost of fuel has gone down. So our expenditure decreased about what we recommended by about $68,000. But then the revenue also decreased too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Charging other departments.
okay.
We can, not sure where that's at in the revenue side.
First page. Fueling reimbursement, it is down, yeah, definitely down from what was budgeted this year, and we reduced that estimate for next year too, this year.
So our vehicles make up the bulk of the fuel. EMS is pretty close to sheriff as well. EMS going to gas motors, getting away from diesel will help bring the cost down. Most of our stuff is diesel, but diesel costs have come down the past year or so. And we use U.S. Department of Energy recommended outlook for energy costs for 25. We look at those in August of 2024, so it's really kind of a guess, honestly, because you just don't know for sure.
Can you track how much the county has realized from the 2.5, 2.5, 2.5? Is there a way to do that, or do you care?
Yes, and you'd have to look, you're talking about the gas tax increase. You'd have to look at, we projected somewhere around 150,000 a year increase. That's a hard one to say it's gonna be exact that.
Is that when it's fully phased in at 12.5?
We were estimating about $750,000 when it's fully phased in. We got one more year to go on that. We probably won't get to that. This year, we're only seeing we only estimated a $60,000 increase over last year.
So how did that drop so significantly then, from 750 to 60,000?
We go off of what MoDOT provides us.
I think you meant 750 at total.
Total, yeah.
Over the
5-year period, yeah. Roughly 150,000 each year increase over what the previous year was. Follow me?
So we had a 60,000 increase on that 2.5 cent the last time, so instead of 150,000, we're 60,000 a year?
No, just for this upcoming year.
Because of the change.
Why
of
wouldn't it be
different-
the same if it's increasing 2.5 cents? I mean, I know that's probably not a you question, but I don't,
The use of electric vehicles is one of them. Fewer miles traveled throughout the state.
so then it should keep going down. The other years would have,
The formula changes too. It's based on there's a weird formula they use, and it's all state statute. It's the County Aid Road Trust, and it's an assessed
Oh, yeah,
valuation of your
the
property.
formula- That formula sucks too.
And every county will get a portion of that, and that
Based
formula
upon the
changes.
assessed valuation of the county?
Part of it,
Yeah,
part of
part of
it's
it.
incorporated road, or roads in
Road
incorporated areas,
mileage,
which
yeah.
we have a lot of that in incorporated areas, so it seems like maybe the small towns get a little more from it, but it doesn't seem like it evens out. There's two portions of that
The cities
formula.
don't the cities get some of that?
Mhm.
So if it's incorporated, I don't know how they figure it.
There's a separate county Aid Road Trust. There's this I think there's a separate formula for counties.
Yeah, it's different.
Separate pool of money for counties, it's divvied up, and then,
I
so,
think
cities,
out of the 100%,
cities also get
Out of
some of it too, but it's
100%,
figured a
the
little
state
differently.
the state gets 70% of the 100%.
Is that it? Okay.
Cities and counties get the 30, and how they split it. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
We also get motor vehicle sales tax too.
Right,
This is just the cart,
right.
the motor fuel tax.
Okay, so what does it start 4 years ago with the 2.5 cents sales tax? So it increased, say it increased to 150 then, and now it's only 60,000, but are we getting 60,000 on this next 2.5 cent and only 60,000 on the first 2.5?
In 2023, the final amount was 1,171,000. And then it looks like projected 24 is 1,191,000, so it didn't go up that much, but then projected,
Let's see, we're at we'll be over 1 point.
That-
We
I
got
think that-
one more payment coming, it
that-
should be at least 100,000, I think we'll be at 1.2.
Two something, yeah.
2-3 million probably by the end of this year. So it would have gone up, yeah, 60,000.
I don't have much for you on that. I mean, it's what we get. It's hard to project exactly. And you just don't know in 1 year from the next on how much the increase is gonna
Does
be.
every month vary a bit?
Oh, yeah, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's-
How do they know how much to give you if people haven't submitted their refunds yet? That comes around in July, so then do we have to pay some back into it?
We don't pay
Or
back
they-
in.
No.
They
don't
hold
pay
back
into it.
probably.
So they hold it back the
Hold it
next
back, yeah.
payment, okay.
I don't know how they would allocate that refund to, you know, which county or which city or,
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out, how they pay it out when they don't know what the refund's gonna be. Some people do it, and most people obviously don't, but.
I don't know, we may have Cole Countyans go somewhere else to buy their gas.
Well, I'd say most of them do if they're in Camden or County or Morgan County, because you get down at the lake, it's 10, 20, 30 cents cheaper.
Yeah, there at Mac, when we were there, it was $3.59 a gallon.
$2.59.
Or $2.59 a gallon, like, when I filled up. Came back and it's still the $2.89.
Didn't really matter where, I
$2.69
mean, it's all, the
per-
whole state all
per
combined,
cent.
so it doesn't really matter what the price is in any given county.
Well, it's per gallon, so
Yeah.
you get 20 gallons here or 20 gallons there.
You're
it's
still paying the same tax.
Yeah. Is it 12 and a half now, or is that next year?
That's next year.
I think July
Next year,
1 of
because
next year goes to 12.
Yeah.
Right now it's-
One more bump.
Yeah.
All right, I didn't get too far down the weeds. That frustrates me though, because
Hey,
I don't like.
I
the
know
car
I bought a
funding.
hybrid from a car that was a gas guzzler, so I'm buying less gas, so.
Okay.
Okay.
The electricity line items, they're 53298. I did mention that Ameren has submitted for a rate increase with the PSC. You know, those, don't know where that's
I think
gonna end
I-
up, but
We didn't have a dollar.
I didn't have a dollar amount, because we don't know if it'll happen or not, but,
I bumped them all up a little bit, yeah,
okay. Just to be prepared for that.
yeah.
Let's go to highway maintenance facility.
Page.
Page.
95.
Yeah.
It's one of the last, it's like under capital outlay,
54925.
54925.
So,
That's 100,000 now.
You asked, I
We asked
already
for
put it at
150.
150. That
Based
was
on our
what your
conversation last week, yes.
yeah.
So that included upper lot improvements, and this is some pavement for the spreader stand. So as we've upgraded our trucks and get new spreaders, right now we have this rack that they all hang on, and it's needs to move on. So we're buying spreaders that actually have a built-in stand, so you just tilt the bed, comes out, and you just drive off and it stands right there. So a lot more efficient, a lot easier, a lot safer for our employees to hook up and dismount. So, but they do need to sit on pavement, and so we're running out of room to put those to where it actually works. So as we start planning our long-range plan for our facility, we'll integrate some new pavement up on top to set those on. So we did include some money for that. That was $90,000. And then just some general building repairs, we put at $10,000. With the concrete work that we did just now, there's a little more that we need to do next year to complete that lower lot around the fuel pumps and everything. It doesn't take care of every bit of driving surface on the lower lot. We're just gonna do that over the course of the next few years. This is just an incremental process, and just don't wanna spend too much in any given year. We just do it gradually, so it's not a big hit to our budget. So we estimated about another $50,000 to take care of the remaining amount of pavement. And if this is approved with this 150 in there, we have the concrete repair services contract already bid, so it's just a matter of having our contractor, we can give them the price, they sign the quote, and if it works out over the winter period, we can go and get that poured early next year, so finish that out. Now, as we brought in the conversation about the gate and the security, we need to discuss, is the security system itself, is that a 211 expense, is that an 806 expense, or other general revenue? So just want some feedback on where you think that ought to be.
I'd say any continuing licensing or whatever group should be 211. One
Maybe.
time, yeah.
One-time.
Any
would come out of
one-time
capital.
cost? Kind of up to you, but I guess it could come out of capital improvement, sales tax.
85% or the 15%?
The 15%.
I think it ought to be the 85.
Historically,
That's
the
historically
85's
for
been roads and
project,
bridges.
road, bridge projects.
I understand,
Okay.
but it's, okay.
It's pretty tight on his project list, considering ours is probably not as tied down, let's put it that way, to particular things.
Pay it out of road and bridge, I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
our
That's your
road and bridge
decision.
fund.
you
It's
can
not
pay it out of road and
one.
bridge
It's not a
fund.
road and it's not a bridge.
What line are we looking at specifically?
Well, anything related to the
54925.
operation of the road and bridge department. can
Okay,
be
so we're
paid
still
out.
talking about those improvements to the facility
Mhm.
and taking those from 15 versus the 85.
I mean, we pay their salaries, we pay their, whatever, administration that relates to all these,
I would
you know,
not
capital
recommend,
improvement projects comes out of road and bridge. So, I mean, whatever, it's either or.
I don't recommend a facility improvement coming out of 85%.
I don't either.
Going forward, if that's something we want to consider for our facility itself, we need to probably put that in the
I mean, I think
information
we
put
could
out
make-
when we do the vote.
We could make the connection, but I don't think we should come out of that.
I mean, you could move this within Road and Bridges Fund to the 150,000, and then the access control be added to our capital, if that,
On your side.
yeah, on our 15, if that's
Bless you.
acceptable to you guys, because we do pay for that on most buildings except for the sheriff, I think, and EMS. We do pay for the access control, where,
Like, one-time
one time.
expenses.
Right,
out
the
of
ongoing
806.
maintenance would come back out of 211. The
Those
annual.
aren't our only two choices where that comes from, those, the 85 and 15. There's other revenue streams.
No, I meant not out of the 85, out of our 15 or out of his budget itself.
For this
For this.
37, 27, what was it?
27,000, I said, but, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not following. So what's the 3725?
It's the access control that we were just talking about doing that sole source on.
Oh, that's not the line number here. Okay.
If I could wind the clock back 40 years, it would say 85% for the county and, I'm sorry, 85% for public works and 15% other. But it's
Okay.
not public works, it's road and bridge.
Improvements.
Which is a part of public works. So, okay, you got me on the language.
And
And I can't
we
roll
live
it
by
back
those
40 years,
brochures.
No, but we can going forward in 2027 if we want to make
We
a slight
could.
change to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
That can be part of the conversation going forward. And it's a legitimate, expense to put towards that because everything that we do on the capital improvements on roads and bridges comes out of our building. For the,
Okay.
for the most part. So, the operations of that, if we present it to the public as that's what we're gonna do, then I think that would be fine. But for right now, today, my preference would be that it come out of the 15%, so the 806 fund.
I'll go with you on that way for the next 2 years,
Okay.
right?
As to what dollar
Yes.
amount or what project?
The 20.
The 27.
So the gate, since you said we originally paid for it out of 211, just keep that together with that.
Okay.
The general 806, 211 on some of these can be a little confusing, but getting some direction
Well,
going forward.
The maintenance of it, once it's installed, I think belongs to.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, operating
The
expenses
operating
need to come out of 211. 806 is it's capital improvement sales tax, so that needs to be a capital item out of
And
806.
that's coming out of 15%.
Yeah.
So you're saying 806 for the gate?
No, 806 for the
Security.
software.
Access control, equipment, and software.
The part we approved
Sole source.
sole source today. Okay, so then what are you proposing, the highway maintenance facility? Is that part of this 100, did you change it to 150?
He's
For
asking.
other
Last week,
things,
yeah.
For other things.
50,000 to cover the additional concrete that we need to do to finish off our concrete project around the fuel pumps in our lower lot.
So
That
if you're
does or
okay
does
with-
not include the maintenance or the software for the gates?
Does not.
Does not.
So I got the impression that the ongoing software licensing would be handled through Brian.
Brian, okay.
Yeah.
It would be better, he can control it, he
Oh,
can make
well,
sure
that's
we're
true.
up to date.
Yes, it could
Yeah,
be.
That's separate from this 27. This is to outfit our facility with everything we need to have full access control. Then it becomes a maintenance licensing situation with Brian.
I mean, he does most of the other ones, general fund, you know, right? They pay for their own maintenance, EMS pays for their own
So maybe
maintenance.
that's something we ought to take a look at
Yeah.
though, because
Yeah,
anything similar to that, they pay out of law enforcement
Right.
fund or EMS fund.
it's to operate, yeah. I'd still say it belongs in 211, but, I mean, if it's not in there, we can put the money in there, but it's gonna be free the first year, right? Should be, because it's included in the price. We can always put that out of capital the first year. After that, it's gonna have to go in here. I'll talk to Brian about it though.
Okay, but as far as the 27,000, it's next year's budget no matter what.
Yeah.
It's just whatever fund it comes out of.
We'll put that.
First of all, are you okay with 150?
Yes,
That was
the
in his
50 for the
original number?
contract.
Okay.
yeah, we
I'll go with
got
that,
that
okay.
last week, yeah.
Now we're just talking about adding to it possibly with the, adding to it for sure with the gate.
The gate, I
You think
I think we
enough in
got,
there
well,
to
we had
cover it?
90,000 in there for concrete up on the upper lot for spreader stands.
Okay.
I think there's enough wiggle room that, you know, we're gonna do X amount of concrete up on the upper lot, whatever money we have. It's gonna have to continue over the next few years to get everything like we need it, so, you know, if we gotta move a little around to cover the gate next year, that's not big, it's a minor amount, we can fit that in. I'm happy just with the 150, let's just leave it at that.
Sounds good. And then the 27, whatever, in the capital, 15%.
27, roughly,
Yeah, just 27.5 then. Let's say 27.
27.5,
Yeah.
add that to the,
To your list there,
So
okay.
that's part of the capital.
Yeah.
Then where's this 150 coming from?
his fund. His,
The highway maintenance, the 150, that's in the.
not page
211.
95.
Yeah.
Yeah, page 95, 211, 54, 925,
Yeah.
highway main facility, 150,000.
Yes.
Yeah. You're okay with that?
And it's coming from,
Road and Bridge
because I
Fund.
thought you were asking if it's coming from the 15%.
No, the
No, now
additional.
we're talking about the security system
I already talked about
in
it.
addition to that. Well, where do we want to pay? The question is, where do you want to pay that from?
My question was, where did this others come from? I thought we already said the security was coming from the capital improvement,
Okay,
Okay, that's-
right?
we were just confirming that.
we're just confirming that.
Okay, confirm for me where highway maintenance comes from. I'm
Public
not
Works,
following this.
211.
11.
What's all in 211? So the 211 revenue line that comes out of there, not out of the road and bridge sales tax? It's just out of your,
Operation budget.
211 is it's the road and bridge property tax. It's the cart money we were just talking about. That's the two main sources of revenue for 211.
211 has nothing to do with the road and bridge sales tax.
Correct. Totally
Okay.
separate.
I'm just making sure you both are nodding your head, because if one of you does this, then I, good, one of you's confused too.
Yeah.
Or I confuse you, so.
I feel like a bobblehead here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I see what you did. Disagree with him, we can go on.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, what
Do
else
this.
you got?
You're
Where
right
do I,
again.
yeah, I gotta read.
Are you, that's all the
Yes.
notes I had unless you.
So,
had-
so Debbie, let's go back to, and Mark, let's go back to 53241, that's insurance.
Yes,
And I know we increased that number, From
I
what? Are we, I know there's some talk about that number actually needing to go up even more.
It's changed a little bit yesterday, so I'm not willing to change that yet.
Leave
until-
it where it's at
Leave it
right
where it
now.
is,
Okay.
and me and Mark will work out what it actually is, and then maybe we'll get with you as far as how many deductibles you think we'll have to put into your line.
Okay.
You know, if that's fair to you guys, because we're still in negotiations.
Is
with
this
the-
the 186,000 line here?
Yeah.
that we're talking about? Okay.
That's everything from his liability to his buildings, to his equipment, to his vehicles.
Okay.
But yes, they will all have to be adjusted across all budgets.
Oh,
So what else do,
One other item, and this has just recently come up, and this is a crossover, it's between us and the health department and parks, I guess. So we installed that sprinkler system, or we assisted in the installation of that out at the health department, and it's on a separate meter. And the conversation was, who pays for that bill? And it will be an additional expense going forward. The Parks Department does have a line item in there for landscape maintenance. That's,
when you say meter, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
water meter.
Oh, well, that should
For
be just
your-
attached to the health department building itself.
It's a separate meter for the usage of the water. The sprinkler system will be tracked on a separate meter. So the question is, there was a question as they were finalizing all that.
sorry, I was emailing Locke because he was gonna come back
Okay.
at 9:30 and we're running long and Christie's here now, so.
And Bill.
Oh.
Oh,
So,
And CPR is one for your staff is gonna take something. CPR
yeah.
for your staff.
I think
What are we
anything that
talking
has
about?
to do with that building, and even if it's a meter on that building, that cost goes to maintenance for the
Okay.
utilities, not you guys.
facilities maintenance, Great Camp.
Yes.
Correct, okay.
Sorry, what are we talking about?
Oh, they said they had to put a new meter on the health department building for the sprinkler system.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
As I said, we do have money in there for facilities landscaping. It's tied to that a little bit, but I just want to make sure we're clear on where that's going to go. I don't know what that amount's going to be. It's not going to be tremendous, I don't think.
I would not get that complicated
Okay.
with you guys taking care of that. Every building, those utilities have to go to
Okay,
the maintenance department.
okay.
If he doesn't like that, let me know.
Like I said, that was just a question that came up here just yesterday, actually, so.
Okay.
Where I grew up, that would be charged to the health department.
They're all in general fund.
Okay. but
Parks is in general
that's-
fund too, so.
Yeah, yeah.
That's different, let me
Yeah.
put it this way.
Yeah, which makes it complicated.
Yeah, to lessen the amount of line items on,
What's it cost? to
General
run
fund
our-
budgets,
What's
we-
it cost to run our health department? Well, it costs X dollars, but it should be X plus because Greg is paying for the sprinkler.
I mean,
Doesn't make
you
any
can look
sense.
at the indirect cost study and that'll tell you. what-
Well, but indirect is fair,
Yes.
I think.
I mean, it's fine if you want to do it that
No,
way.
it's too.
We had a lot of trouble with bills not
getting
getting paid when we had to separate it all out. We have a lot of them on the P cards now, so, if we can, so, to make sure the utilities get paid.
anything else in 211?
No, I don't.
Except salaries.
Salaries, I can do that now, or if you want to, let's cover the sales tax,
Yeah.
807.
807.
And under 806, I just want to make sure that we're good on.
Page.
Go to 806 real quick. That's page 123. We have in there the PS&E for addition to the shop at $100,000. We did receive the submittals for that. We got 6 submittals from architect companies. I plan to review those and bring to you all a recommendation the first part of next year. Just want to make sure we're still good with that.
You just gotta go out and find grants to pay for that.
I know, yeah. We're gonna have to find the money and that'll,
Yeah.
but until we know what the cost is and what our options are, this is a key part of continuing to build out and improve our operation, so. Okay.
still on the list. So.
Okay. And then, so the
807.
807.
Page 127, 128.
I don't really have anything to add to what we talked about last week. This is gonna be a lot of last-minute decision-making and changing around because we got so much in flux right now with end-of-year things. We got a project that bids, I think it's next week, one stormwater now. That's gonna be an ARPA, but it still changes how much money we would have or didn't put into stormwater for this year. So a lot of carry forward that's unanswered for. Wildwood Drive, that's in this year's budget. So everything in that carries forward into next year. We're gonna advertise that project on Sunday, but bid it in January. So we're gonna go into the next budget not knowing exactly what that price is gonna be.
We put a pretty big number on that though already, didn't we?
I'm
'Cause-
concerned it's gonna be even bigger.
Okay.
So, but we just don't know. So finalizing everything, like we do every year.
With all the
The
open
last,
POs.
yeah, we'll nail everything down the last week of the month, like we normally do, and we'll know exactly where things
That they're
are
all
carried
open
forward.
POs and
Yeah.
update accordingly.
Yeah, we did have an item in this current year that we did make the payment to the city on Monroe Street.
Oh, yeah, right. So that should come out.
That goes away. It's a little more than what was budgeted originally.
You say we did make the payment?
We did, it's processed, whether it's actually gone yet or not, but it will
It'll
be.
be out by the end of the
Yeah.
year. That's city, where is that? Is that under city or cooperative or what?
I'm just gonna make this comment. We made the payment.
Mhm.
I drive up Monroe Street. They haven't done anything yet.
It's under contract.
Okay, it's under contract, so why do we make the payment now before they've had to make any payments? And I'm gonna get on my horse here a minute about,
Yeah.
the prison site.
We did that 1.5
Chestnut.
million, they
We made
sat on
$1,553,000 back in '21,
Mhm.
and I don't see where they've spent any of that yet.
And the interest they made on that should have been.
At least the contract's been let and signed.
Yes,
This is not aimed at you.
I understand totally, yeah. I understand exactly where we're at on this. So the way the agreements were written in the past and the way MSP, it was kind of like, the last sales tax cycle and the way those projects were, there was an imbalance of the city paid a little more on one, we paid less, and we ended up with 1.553, that number, that ultimately was gonna go towards MSP. To get it done and then get it paid out by the end of that sales tax cycle, the decision was made, let's go ahead and make that payment, because at the time, they were working on the whole conference center and everything. Of course, that didn't happen and they're sitting on the money. This one, the way we worded this specific agreement now is that when they have a signed contract, or it's an awarded contract, then we make the payment.
So when we start to unveil the expenses and the construction of Wildwood,
Mhm.
we'll ask for a check from the city.
When we award the contract or have when we award it, then we'll send them an invoice for their share.
Before we start actually paying the bills?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, one difference with that, with the current projects we have, the 6 that we have right now, the CART project, we have not received anything on that from them. Now, the original agreements were when it was completed, so that was again written early on, and then the current agreement that we're under right now is an addendum to the original. So we're still waiting on that, and so the way that's written is when we know the final cost, then they'll submit whatever the amount that they owe us. So we're about ready to have that completed, and we can send that, but we won't get that payment until next year.
We need to adopt that then too, and rather than paying them in advance, we need to pay them when the project's done.
Yeah, and I think, as we look into the future, there still needs to we'd still need to clean up that whole program. So definitely, yeah, and I agree wholeheartedly with what you're coming from.
What we've done jointly with the city on the High Street Viaduct, on the planning side,
Mhm.
only on the planning side, those expenses are being incurred.
Currently, yes.
And we're kicking in,
It's about $500,000 of the total, which is about $1 million.
and that's fair.
Yes.
Where was that, Monroe? I'm having trouble.
Is that in
finding
the cooperative village?
It's Cooperative Projects 54907.
No separate,
Or-
no
sorry.
separate project number assigned to it?
No.
Okay. It's not even in next year's budget. You were planning on we had planned to pay it this year. It's not in.
Correct, yes.
There's $1 million
yes.
in that line item for next year, 500,000 for High Street Viaduct and 500,000 for the stadium in Edgewood.
Yes.
Court. Okay.
And those are,
So we don't need to change anything in next year's budget
No.
for this Monroe?
No.
Okay, that's what I'm looking for.
yeah, I'm just saying it will carry forward Wildwood into this current year. And so it'd be a placeholder in this year's budget, but it'd be a carry forward from 2024.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that Monroe Street payment wasn't in next year's budget.
We're done with
somewhere.
Monroe
Okay.
as of
All right.
this week, probably.
Okay,
So,
all right, okay.
We're done.
They're not. I knew that was coming. I was like, oh, my, pitch that one up there.
Get that one out of there.
Jeff, you had to get your long discussion about the gas tax. Harry got his on it. Sam sitting in the middle.
Oh, yeah. Sam turn.
I can talk about the viaduct, but I won't.
Okay, where was I?
You're done. That's-
I know everybody else is sitting around waiting, but he hurry up and finish.
We got all day.
Oh, you do, don't you?
I don't, we really do.
We got till 3 o'clock.
Is that right?
We
Okay,
got a schedule.
so let's talk about salary, and I know other
Anything
departments.
else on I just want to make sure. Any other questions on 807?
No,
project?
it's
Okay.
good.
Okay, thank you.
So, out of everything we've done with budget and all that, the one that we focus the most on is salaries. And I think I made a pretty in-depth presentation last week on where we stand, what our needs are, and where we see, or where we're looking at going into the future. And we're a lot lower than where we should be on starting salaries. Percentage-wise, I don't have that exact number, but just to give you a comparison, our street maintenance worker, our equipment operator, that starting right now as it stands is 33.4. The city's at 36,138. MoDOT is 40,948. So we're pretty low where we think we need to be, and I know there's some discussion last week. I heard some comments that can't believe it's that low, and those are, borderline poverty wages. The mechanic, we're even farther out of whack there. So our starting right now is 39.9. The city, and even what I presented last week is outdated. It's over 50,000 for their starting mechanic position right now, and then MoDOT is 47.7. So that's just starting bringing somebody in the door. We also we're seeing an issue with retention. So I said last week we got, of our 39, and this is just Road and Bridge, of our 39 employees, 13 have less than 5 years' experience. When you have that, inexperienced staff, you're in the process of training them and building them up and getting them to, it ties back to, comfort level driving a tandem axle snowplow when you're out plowing snow. Getting that experience is pretty important in what our operation, what we have to do and what our responsibility is. Look a little further, since 2020, right at the time I came in as director, and this includes the previous director and everybody, we've had 21 employees that came in are now gone. So of our current, and this is just on, it's everybody, that's the Road and Bridge actually, just there, 21 of our 39 back then are gone. So we're seeing a lot of turnover, and it's a number of different reasons. A lot of retirements, that's part of it. But the retirement, when you lose somebody with that experience, it's hard to replace that. And so at the end of the day, ultimately, it trickles on down to where you're hiring an entry-level position. Bringing somebody in that could be straight out of high school or maybe coming into a new career that just has very little experience. We train them, we get them to get their CDL. We actually had them sign a contract because now it cost us to train somebody to get their CDL. And we've had 2 people leave and actually pay that contract back just to go to a lot higher paying jobs, doing a very similar thing to what they were doing before. So we're seeing that, and here's the problem: as time goes on, and if we keep on cycling out these 5-year or less employees, people like me, 10 years from now, I'll be looking at retirement. But we have a lot of people that are older than me, and they're even closer to that. And so it's important that we bring people in, train them, but it's even more important that we keep them and retain them. So, that's the issues we're facing. So the proposal that I made is, in addition to what the auditor had proposed with the 2.2 COLA and the 500 per employee, is back in that difference, if it was a snapshot in time back in August, was about $100,000. As it stands now, just with some people leaving since then, it's about 81. And I sent this out, I don't know if you got this last week when I sent it out. Now, these numbers, I think, are still fluid because we're still in
Is
the
this
process.
what you just emailed to us, because I was printing these out?
That was last week. I emailed that to you along with the salary schedule that I had sent in. So, where do I see this going forward? Well, we had the minimum wage that increased. Now, whether that stands or not, we don't know. I think there's a lawsuit potentially out against that, but the voters approved that. Across the country, this is very similar across the country. By coincidence, not on purpose, but I'm a member of the American Public Works Association. I'm also the delegate for our Missouri chapter, one of 63 delegates across the country and in Canada. And our strategic goals in APWA, one of them, and actually the primary one, is workforce development. So it's one thing to bring people in the door, but you got to develop them and you got to keep them. And if we keep on losing people to higher paying jobs, and those jobs are out there, we just saw that happen last week or the week before. Somebody going to a different opportunity, making about 35% more. We're going to get to a situation where we're losing that experience, and that experience comes in hand primarily when we get into these serious situations like snow removal and other emergency operations where we assist the other, the EMS and the Sheriff's Department, and then just the general public. One concern I got, and I think it's going to continue to get worse as MoDOT and the state starts to build out I-70. There's a huge demand for that equipment operator, that maintenance worker in that field. There's also a huge demand for engineers and consultants. And even my proposal doesn't include myself, but I can tell you that demand's out there greater than I've ever seen it. So we're gonna see it just across the whole industry and across what we do. We're starting to see these issues. So what I want to do is raise our starting salary up to $38,000 for the equipment operator. That's the entry level, gets them in the door. I think that's comparable, maybe comparable, maybe lower than what even some of the minimums of other departments are. I think it's fair in comparison to the city and the state. The mechanic position, that one we need to bring up to
You said 48.
48,000, yeah. Still just a tad low than the city, and it's maybe just a tad higher than the state, but it's very comparable. And for example, we just hired a new mechanic out of State Tech within about a year and a half ago. I know that going forward, we're not going to be able to bring somebody in with what we're paying them right now. So You know, it's important that we keep somebody like that. It's important that we keep everybody that we have, continue to build them to where when we start cycling through, you know, these retirements that we got impending over the next 5 to 10 years, that we have those people to fill those positions. You know, we're seeing it right now, even with, as Kevin retired, and transitioning to Aaron Locke as the road superintendent. You know, bringing people up, you know, ultimately that's could end up in somebody as a new crew supervisor. Those types of positions, you know, we need to have people that continue to be able to fill as people move on. I don't think my ask is tremendous, and actually, you know, if I could, I'd ask for more, but I think it's fair. I think at the end of the day, maybe the right way to do this is to put this into a, you know, a reserve, or however you want to, you know, I don't know how you end up doing it.
Did you miss yesterday's meeting? It's the CRAM, or what was the acronym? So
What's that?
it was a separate pool that's
Yeah,
a special name that we were talking about.
CRM.
Yeah.
How close, CRA?
Call
That-
it anything you want.
You know, like I said,
He,
you know, I-70, that's just, that's one thing. I know I-44 is next. So we're gonna see this over the next 10 years. There's gonna be a huge drain for our type of employee. The one thing we got going for us right now is, you know, we're fairly flexible with people. A lot of people do things on the side to supplement their income. A lot of people farm on the side. So we can, you know, we're pretty flexible and work around their schedules. Reasonable benefits, but I will tell you that, you know, those on the private side and everywhere else, those are starting to get closer to what we got right now. So this is, I'm telling you this because I'm extremely concerned that if we don't invest in, and this is just strictly salary, if we don't continue to invest in our type of employee in public works, we're going to start seeing situations where, you know, the experience is starting to go down, and that impacts the ability to operate the equipment that we have. It's, you know, could result, you know, you got, for example, we had accidents last year. I know 3 we had during snow, and the 3 that we had were more inexperienced drivers. It just happens. It's gonna happen, but those are the kind of issues that we're seeing long term. So, in comparison to our whole overall budget, it's a very small amount. It should, you know, I think, you know, a small amount, although it's a big impact to the people that we have, and I think it'll make a big difference. And, you know, unfortunately, I think this is gonna be something that we're just gonna keep facing. I don't think it's gonna go away. We do our best. I heard a comment made a couple of years ago. I was talking to the APWA national president at the time, and talking about this 2 years ago, I said, yeah, the biggest issue I face is salaries. And I'll be flat out. We can build roads, we can design this and that all day long. That's, you know, we can do our daily operations, and I think we do a very good job at it. That's the easy part. It's keeping our employees where we need to have them on salaries is challenging. And he said, yeah, Public Works tends to fix things and put things together with baling wire. We make things work. On the outside, it looks like everything's great, and on the inside, you know, we're doing this here, doing that there, filling in where we have to. For example, one of our employees who previously had worked for a roofing company repaired the salt dome, redid the shingles. We didn't have to hire that out. How much did that save? A couple thousand at least. It just cost us the rental of a lift to get up there to do it. So we make things work. We assist everybody else. And I could go on about this, but it's extremely important to me that we take care
I
of it.
agree. I'd say, I don't know how you find anybody who's gonna come to work with 33,000.
So to get more into how we projected this out, so we basically took the starting and upped them to that. And so that does have a little bit of an effect going on. Now, we didn't give them the same amount going forward. You know, we tried to say, okay, so if your COLA is gonna be this, we'll take a work group and we'll say, we'll increase that work group this amount. It's not everybody gets the same amount. Now, I think there's still some room to figure out exactly what that looks like. I'm not included in that. Matt and I are not included. that's a separate conversation, not even part of this today, so. But any thoughts? I know I sent you all the spreadsheet. Harry, you asked for it last meeting. Did you have a chance to look through any of that?
I have had some time to look at it. I think your ask is reasonable. Has it changed from last week, or are we still on the same?
It actually,
Went down from
it
your
went
original.
down, the original, just because we've had people retire and leave, and so ultimately, what that does to us as a snapshot in time, it's less. I think ultimately, going into next year, it's gonna be even a little more less, because as people cycle through, we'll be hiring entry-level positions, or a position, so it's probably gonna go down a little bit. But I think there's still some room to tweak exactly what we did back in August.
We're looking strictly at the 211.
Yes, now, yeah, the other ones, there might be similar, but again, I took, what, the salary comparisons I did, I basically took whatever your job title was, I compared it to across the board. So not everybody's getting, I'm not saying everybody gets the same amount.
So, I mean, a week ago, on the 211, the difference between you and Mark was 100,
Yes,
and today the difference is 82.
yes.
Not a week ago,
Well, when-
3 months ago.
August, yeah.
September 1.
Yeah.
but when we
Or no, by November, I guess November 15. Well, their asks have to come in by September 1st. I print out my recommended budget on November 15th, so anyway.
Basically, that just shows two people.
It didn't
leaving.
change in a week. You came with these same numbers a week ago, right?
Yeah, right.
He came, yeah. Anyway.
And a little bit of this discussion is, we've talked about adding back the second assistant road superintendent, and I do recommend that. I think everybody's okay with that, but I don't think you'll see a big change in this number just because, if like a crew supervisor makes the jump up to that, we're still at the end of the day replacing with an entry-level position. So the difference actually offsets more than what the lesser amount with that offsets the increase, so.
Can I just ask? I put lock off for half hour. If I email, Christie's waiting, Bill's waiting. How long are we going with this? Should I put off lock for another half hour? Okay. Okay.
So
do
we've had a lot of people though that have retired. We had a lot of people that were here for a long time, and so we're having turnover with that because they're coming in, and right now, it's a employees market. You can go road and bridge for a little while, get some great benefits, and if you don't think the money, especially these young ones, they chase the money. You can go do construction somewhere and make more money tomorrow, easy. And so I don't know if just throwing money at it, because I think our benefits package is very good, so do we back off on the benefits package and pay more money up front, or is there a way to give them an option? If they want the money up front rather than a package, is there a way to do that? I know we've had a lot of people retire. You're bringing in new people and then you lose them because they're not really vested in our public works, but once they get in here for a while, they don't leave. I mean, it's-
Right.
Well, we've lost mid-level.
And we lost a engineering technician, been here 11 years. You'll get a little bit of that. We lost a crew supervisor that had been here about 16 or 17 a couple years ago. There's always those opportunities out there. People will pursue that. Once you get vested in your retirement, you got enough built up. You get to the point, do you stay or should I stay or should I go now? And somebody that's been here 20, 25 years, but we do have a pending resignation of an employee that had been here 27 or 26, pursuing something different.
When did we start the career path? Is that 2
20
years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Because we made some pretty significant jumps there. I don't know.
If your ask today for 211 is this 81, I'm gonna say yes.
Go on to.
I'm gonna reserve judgment for now, still looking over here. So all the numbers in the pink are what you're asking for the adjustments, right?
Can you see that okay? That might be a little better.
Not from here. Got it right here.
This one a little
Yes,
bigger.
because that bottom line is 145,000, or 114, I'm sorry.
You got, look at this sheet here.
Is that that's your final ask?
This is a summary of everything.
Summary.
Okay, let me
I know
back
you
up
said-
just a tad, and I know there was conversation yesterday about the cell phone stipend. So our ask was taking that out completely. I
It sounds like everybody wants that still in.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. I thought you told me months ago that'd be easier to take the cell phone stuff out, so.
Well, but if they weren't
Things
willing
have
to add it to
changed.
salary,
Okay.
I mean,
It's $6,800
yeah.
as it sits right now for us, so
But you've got that figured back into their salary, basically. And they were talking about taking away the stipend and not giving the salary, so.
we were just taking away the stipend and it's kind of rolled into everything else we're doing.
Right.
Is the county thinking of just taking away the stipend, but, or just leaving it as is?
Apparently
Leaving it
not.
as is.
We're leaving it.
Let's not start this
Yeah,
again.
we don't wanna, yeah, no, it's,
Okay.
We
Right
messed
now-
with it
Stipends
yesterday.
stay in.
Okay. So then add $6,800 to whatever I
Or
proposed there.
subtract it out of the 82.
Uh,
So the sheet that I was looking at was
Should
August,
be,
and
if
then
you got it
you've
figured
got
in
your
there.
It's
revised
not figured into the 81.
total for 81.
It's
It was
not?
just taken out completely.
Yeah,
If
you
I
took
throw
it
it back
out
in, then it,
completely.
yeah. Because not everybody gets a stipend.
But I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't just say, we're not doing a stipend for your
Sure.
department. If you
Want
want
to
to.
do
Well,
that?
it's true, yeah.
Do these adjustments,
do
and
it
then
for
we
your
forego the
department.
cell phone stipend.
Just don't buy them no phones from the county.
We don't buy phones, that's all, just, yeah.
Yep.
That doesn't change mine.
Okay.
Got two, move on.
yep, yep.
I didn't say no, I didn't say yes, I'm just still looking.
The only thing I'll clarify, you know, you're gonna have lots to ask. You had lots to ask on salaries yesterday. You got lots to ask coming up for salary. When he first started, he had no problem with maybe putting that 82,000 into your ACRM account and making sure we're all square before, because already what's in there is the 2.2 and the 500, and the career plan is already in there. So this 82, setting that aside within Public Works, EMS, they have a rate scale, right, that they come up with. The sheriff has their own rate scale. And then if you would put an account in GR under the ACRA at 150,000, earmark then for those jobs that come back through HR and get reevaluated. You're gonna hear from the prosecutor today. I'm sure you're gonna hear from the health department today, and the ones that you heard from yesterday. I don't think you wanna sit here and pick and choose winners and losers. I think that all needs to go through HR. So consider that. Consider that in that, yes, and then having that looked at again.
So could we take the salaries with the step and with the COLA and everything, see how close we come to your proposed salary they're gonna make, and maybe adjust it down that way so that by the time they get their step pay and they get their COLA, they're at this price?
He's saying that it would be the other 82,000 to get them to that price. So, yes, he is saying that, but instead of just doing it right now, I just think we put that in there. It could happen before the first, the raise takes effect on the third check in January this year. So it could still all happen by then, but for budget purposes, it's up to you guys.
I guess I would renege just a little bit and say, unless we can't, at the end of the day, we can't afford it.
Right.
We simply can't afford it. I'm gonna give you a pretty good tentative yes.
And that would be great, because especially we don't know carry forwards and everything, and we want to make sure our
I think we need to
contingency
treat it the
stays.
same as we're doing for the elected
Yeah.
officials too. We can't tell our own department that, yeah, we're gonna do it for ourselves, but we're not gonna do it for Auditor, hey, too
Yes.
bad, we're gonna have to look at it at the end, so
Right.
I would agree, but
Okay.
I think we've got some other starting salaries that need to be adjusted at some
Yeah,
point too.
I think,
So what you're saying is this 82 number,
Yes,
it's kind of a placeholder right now.
yes.
We'll cycle through and then, I mean, again,
Well, after the budget's approved, then
then we'll have this.
What's the official date? January 9th?
seven.
7th? You'll know for sure January 7th. I mean, you got a pretty good idea right now.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't go tell anybody that yet.
It's on TV right now, though.
Well, they heard me.
Okay,
Gotcha.
anything else?
I appreciate it.
No promises.
No, an all long conversation.
Bill,
but-
Well, say Bill, just
Oh, Bill.
before, yeah,
Oh, he's
before
part-
Eric leaves.
We did Bill
One of
yesterday.
the
I thought.
things, yeah, well, that's why Bill's here.
We did
Part
his
of the-
yesterday.
Yeah, this is not Bill's budget. So part of the safety committee, I'm trying to help Bill out with, because he's taken over for Nick. And part of the safety committee, we talked about the new AEDs, that's part of it. Well, then when we put them in, people gotta know how to use them. So we talked about CPR classes that cover AED usage for those staff that are not EMS and not law enforcement. And we actually already gave the class to Pringer Center. So the health department has 2 people that are trained to do CPR classes. I think we can do 8 per trainer, no, 6 per trainer. So, and then EMS said if we had a bigger class, like if Public Works wanted to do all their staff together, EMS said they would help. They also have mannequins. We could do that together. The cost is still $80 a staff person because we have to pay for the materials, we have to pay for their card, their certification, but we could come in and teach it. So we were wondering if the commission would support that. I think Bill also wants to talk about those AED cabinets, but we feel like it's very important. If you're gonna put the AEDs in the buildings, people need to know how to use them. You don't want the first time they're getting it out, follow the directions when somebody is in dire need. So, like I said, Nick was gonna send that to you guys to get on the commission agenda. I don't know if he sent it to you, I wasn't copied on it, but we're just kinda trying to pick up some of those pieces. And I thought budget time was a good time to talk about those classes. And I do not know the number of staff that need it, that's one thing. So, and maybe we don't make any decisions today, I just wanted to kind of bring that up, that we're getting the AEDs, we're gonna need cabinets to put them in, and then people gotta know how to use them.
Is it fair to say that at the end of the day, for every fully educated user
Mhm.
of it, it costs us $80
Yeah.
out of pocket?
Right,
That's a bargain to save on
Pretty
right.
So the cabinets, as you know, we have one down the hallway and they're marked so people can see them. I didn't know nothing about this till the other day after Nick left. We get a truckload of AEDs in, so that's the first I knew about it. So I kinda reached out to Christie and them because I didn't know what was going on, had no clue.
And that should have included cabinets as well.
I don't think it did.
No?
Yeah, we were
It was supposed
talking
to.
about,
It was
we
supposed
thought
to.
it, right, so Jessica helped. So
Did
maybe
you?
we can get back together and talk about the AEDs and the cabinets, but please know that we need to train people.
And
is that
EMS,
82?
We have 14 of them that, on a pallet right now.
EMS
And I don't even know if that
set up
includes
one day
just
in front of the courthouse
Yeah,
and
you
did
know.
a,
They're old
Kind of
ones,
a
so
life-saving
is that a
event.
Is that, you
so
replacing ours
we
or
could
not?
probably get
Oh,
EMS.
I don't
it's
know.
old.
Anyway, so just kind of keep that in mind, that maybe you want us to get some numbers together.
You
know.
recommend everybody in our staff? no matter
I
what,
would say
right?
so, because,
I
and
think
I
so.
mean, especially if
They
they're
may be.
out, in the field, one of their coworkers, they might have to do CPR on them. You probably don't have an AED accessible, but that's why the CPR part. And we
CPR.
can do them 2 ways, like, the CPR, we can do a full day where we go through everything together, or they have the option to do the videos beforehand, and then we come in for 4 hours and do the skills. And I mean, that's up to the supervisors if they want to dedicate a whole day, or if they want people to watch the videos on their own. You have to, do the quiz or whatever, and then you come in and just do the skills part.
And the $82, that's for your staff.
80, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like I said, we have to pay for the materials, we have to pay for the books, they get their certification card. It costs us, we're basically, that's our cost to do the class.
We can actually take that out of the wellness program within the
Mhm.
health insurance if you guys like.
it. And it's not just to save the life of the county employees.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's, yeah.
You know, the first time we did this kind of a history is years ago when we put them one here, one down the courthouse, one at Pringer and one at Public Works. That's all we did.
Yeah.
And, one year, someone was paying their taxes down, Larry Benson had a heart attack, and they came up and got the pads and used them before the ambulance got here, so, worked.
It's a good thing, and you just check with that, because they did approve the AEDs and the cabinets, so we'll make that right, and then you're gonna bill us for
We
whatever,
can do that, yeah.
and set that all up, if that's
Yeah.
okay with you guys.
What?
The classes to,
No, what did we approve before? Because we have some new.
The AEDs and
AEDs.
the cabinets, you had already,
That's what I
These were
thought.
years
Yeah.
ago, yeah.
no, but just
No, we
recently,
just did some
these
new ones.
14.
Yeah,
right?
14
They
there.
were
Jessica-
135 and
I think it's
15
6
cents,
cabinets.
what he said,
Right, we didn't need 14 new cabinets,
Right.
but.
right?
We just needed the new cabinets for the new placements of the
placements, yeah.
AED machines.
Yeah.
And I
So
don't
I'll have
know
to
where,
look into
as I
that.
say, and I don't know where those were going. Some of them were going to the courthouse. Tracy was
Probably
gonna
won't need
look.
Tracy should have that list.
Yeah,
all
so
the
Tracy
time.
was gonna go look through that for that list.
I'll look
Could you
for-
produce a schedule, or not a schedule, but a list of where these 14 units are?
Sure.
As soon as we find the information.
I'll look
How many
for
do you
some
have right now,
Nick
Bill? Is
had
there
the
14
list.
over there?
more. We have 14
14.
new ones, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
but
think
then
we-
like, I don't know if that, we have 3 old ones, and I don't know if that 14 included replacing our 3 old ones or not.
Yes.
So we're trying,
Yes,
did it?
we were
Okay,
trying to
good,
get
that's
rid
what
of
we
all
were
of
trying to
them.
figure out.
To
Good,
make
good,
them all
good.
the same.
Okay,
Make them all the same
Yeah.
And I don't remember what we did with the cabinets. I thought we had approved ordering like 5 more cabinets.
Six.
right,
what I think it
6,
was.
We were
yeah.
adding something.
It wasn't 14.
So it should be 2
No,
at Public
because we
Works,
already
3
have
at Pringer, 3 at Annex, 2 at
Well, that's
Carnegie,
all.
and 4 at the
Okay.
courthouse.
Well, we did not have that piece of paper
I'll
that
look
you're
and see
reading
if I can
from,
find some
so.
notes.
I'll forward the
from
email
safety
to you.
meeting.
I'm
Perfect.
just going off of that.
Yeah, because Bill was
So-
trying to find that, Tracy was trying to find it, Chris, we were all trying to figure out exactly.
Yeah, we should be able to find some minutes from the meeting or something.
Right, okay, good, good.
Yeah.
I'll send this.
Yeah, 'cause he sent,
Okay, and then Jen and Dana had already
That's what he said.
identified some dates.
Cabinets.
So we'll kind of circle back on those dates and see how, you know, if you want your staff to watch the videos and we just come and do that 4-hour skills portion. And then we'll have to sort of survey other
I didn't know.
staff. Like I said, we just had to do Pringer Center because they need it for their license, their
Yeah.
research.
Which is worse, an AED or a taser?
The what?
Sorry?
No.
Which is worse, an AED or a taser?
Taser.
Taser
There
for
you go.
liability.
Taser. That taser has NMI, neuromuscular incapacitation. That's
you send out an
specifically
email
designed
With
to
the
lock the
dates?
body up.
I did, I did, but if you can't find it, let me know, because I just sent it back to Bill. We were
Yeah.
trying
And
to
we want,
circle
we
back.
wanna do
I was
this
just curious.
for our people, do it earlier, like winter time.
Right.
We
Okay,
can,
I'll look at those dates and
We'll
reply
work
back
on
to
it.
Jen and Dana.
okay.
Okay, so
okay.
Thank
that's
you.
why Bill was here, because we
Okay.
wanted to circle back on some of those
I kinda
safety
reached back,
committee.
but I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah,
I was just teasing about, we went through your budget yesterday. I mean, we actually did, but you didn't change anything, so.
And Debbie
All right.
reminded me, we approved that purchase out of marijuana. Do we want to change that?
I've already paid for part of it, I'm
Okay.
pretty sure. I paid for the bill, that
For
came,
what? Paid for what?
those
No.
eight.
Paid for that out of
Yeah,
marijuana
yeah,
tax.
they're
Leave it in there.
purchase.
I think Harry's right, they're not gonna build it.
Well, I
Take it
didn't get an
back.
email from a guy showing $207 a piece for a cabinet, and I go on Amazon, I can get it for 89
we
bucks.
can't buy from Amazon
But
right
you
now.
can't buy it.
Now, Bill, don't start that.
We're gonna do-
Don't start
We're
that.
gonna do Christie,
Please,
yes,
okay,
We'll see.
have a seat.
okay.
You're on
The
hot
other,
seat.
the,
Yeah, locked in.
Eric was talking about,
So we're good, okay.
you know, people leave for a variety of reasons, and I know it would be some work, but I think it'd be sort of interesting to do a staff survey. You know, last year I did stay interviews with my staff, you know, instead of exit interviews, I did stay interviews and sat down with each one of them one-on-one and talked about things, you know, what do you like about your job? What could be changed? You know, just things like that. What would, you know, entice you to leave? You know, and maybe that could get to the root of why people are leaving after, you know, 8, 10, 15, 20 years. Anyway, I know it's not just money. Okay, some of mine, and some of it can't be changed, like the temperature of the building, it is what it is. You can mess with it a little bit, but sometimes, you know, it is. Okay, so for my budget, most of the grants are stable. We might want to have a closed session at some time to talk about the ELC contract and the negotiations that are going on there. But my big ask, as with everyone else, is salary. As you
Yeah,
know.
last week, you did nothing else.
Nothing else,
What
no.
page are we on here?
Everything
on
on my
50.
budget was okay.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't have
We're okay
any-
with other than
58, Jeff.
salaries, okay.
58?
58.
Yeah, sorry, 58,
Yeah, the
59.
only difference that I had from the auditor's proposed budget was salaries. And, you know, I printed my
I do need to
email.
update the WIC Medicaid to actual, but whatever.
Okay.
That won't change much.
Yeah, that won't change
Okay.
Back in, I guess it started April or May, and in June, I had sent my informal salary studies on the nurses' salaries to Sheila. She kind of confirmed with her study and found that the average, I mean, that was in June of 2024, the average nurse's salary is 67. So I didn't bring my chart that I sent, but yeah, our
one,
starting
I got
salary for
small.
nurses is 52.5 and our nurse 3. So we have 2 positions that we count as public health nurse 2s. One does MCH, CCHE, that sort of stuff. One does STDs. And then we have 2 nurses that we count as 3s because they have more complicated programs. It's the IMS program and communicable disease and epidemiology. They start at 56.5. Then we have a nurse supervisor and a clinic manager.
Christine, is that what you're looking for? That is the whole packet, the
Oh,
last
okay.
one you gave me.
Yeah. So, our average, or our starting nurse salary, is, 15,000 below the average salary in Missouri. And I'm not saying we should be at the average, but I think we need to be closer. So in my ask, I added $7,000 to each nurse's salary to try to get them closer to the average or at the average.
Is this close to the second that we talked about?
It is yes, it was June, yes. And you said wait till budget time.
And that's all, I'm pulling up your salary schedule, ask again.
Yeah,
That's all
that
you're
is
asking for, right?
Correct.
In
I had put
addition
in
to
3,
COLA.
I had put in 3% because that's
Well,
what we thought. But the
500
only-
plus
yeah,
2.2 is,
Right. so-
equates to a total of 3, it just
Yeah.
gives the lower paid employees
Right,
a little more than.
Right.
our
So yeah, that is the
employees,
only
yeah.
thing that is different is for those nurses. So there's 6 of them, it's, right?
42, yeah.
Yeah, it's $42,000 difference.
Yeah.
And we keep our nurses.
Right.
And they are in such great demand, it's kind of like paramedic.
Right. And we require RNs. I know some people are like, well, why can't you hire LPNs because you can get them cheaper? The reason that the health department historically always had RNs and not LPNs is the LPNs work under an RN's license. We don't have a medical director. We don't have a medical director on site. And I guess, way back when it was decided that it wasn't fair for the RNs to have to sign off on the LPN's work. You're putting your license on the line for this other staff member, so we just hired all RNs.
How
So,
many RNs do we get?
6. Because Jen and Chesney work in the clinic, they're RNs as well.
So,
Okay, so, just from you from 50,000 feet,
Mm-hmm.
you asked, when you sent it to Mark, you asked for 2,025,595.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark said 1,966,477. And this is 59,118.
but,
And the reason, the difference, 59,118, that's 6 nurses at 7,000.
But that's only 42, right?
But
Okay.
Within your benefits.
Oh, correct.
So it's 42 salary plus the benefits get you to,
51.9 or 51.9.
yeah, that makes sense, that's 17, yeah, that's kind of in the 31, 30.
Mm-hmm.
those numbers come from total budget. I said, where are you getting those
Yeah,
numbers?
he's looking at
Salaries
total
like
budget. Mm-hmm.
1.4.
She could have had some changes in
1.5.
her
Yeah.
Okay, Gotcha.
Since
Well,
August,
Personal services.
compared to
Gotcha.
what the what he
Oh, there,
figured.
gotcha, okay. Total personal service, okay, sorry.
And since August, we might have a few little changes.
Front desk lady or something.
Yeah, Emily resigned. We have a new one starting on the 23rd. And then Chelsea,
rate,
yeah. Yeah, we're bringing her in at the same rate, the starting salary.
So I think what they've been telling most everybody else is probably put this in a reserve.
Unless they want to pick and choose which ones they want to do, but right now, for budget purposes, since we're going to approve it, it'd be easier just to put it in that reserve, make sure we got all the documentation she needs, and then you can implement it, and we can surely get it done by that third check in January. I say July.
Third, not the third check.
Yes, that's when it would be effective, because that
Three
would,
checks in there?
yeah, this year we do.
Because our first one's on the second.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, we're actually paying before we have it, but we won't go there.
It happens.
It happens. I don't like it this close myself.
Can't change the calendar.
No, I
Right.
can't change the calendar. Every 2 weeks, yes.
So, did you have any questions about it, or?
Kind of treating everybody right now, but
Yep, I'm still fishing in the same boat.
I'm still fishing in my boat.
Same lake? Or do we have the ducks at least all in the
I
same
think it's in
pond?
different oceans right now.
Yeah, I had a sailboat for 8 years, I'm sailing.
Ducks
Okay.
are both at least in the same pond, you know.
Thank you, Sheila. I had printed some of it. That's all I had.
Okay.
good. Hey, you didn't have any questions on anything else
On
in
any
your budget?
other line
Any
item?
other line items, anything in health? No. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Larry?
Did I see
Take a
the
quick break.
collector
It's
come-
10.
When is Locke coming down?
Well, he didn't respond, he's not here.
Okay,
Oh,
well,
maybe he
then-
did respond to my email. I asked 10:30, no. He's not here yet, so.
Okay, what you want to do?
We got plenty to do till he gets
I would
here.
assume the collector is
Or
here
you want to
to
talk, Larry?
tell us how much he loves us.
Oh, after this break.
Definitely.
He
Did
left.
you want to say anything?
Yes, please, if we're taking a little break.
Since you said
if you
break.
take a break.
You want
lost
to
us.
take
I
a
got
break?
it.
We're gonna take a 5-minute break.
Okay.
And then we'll play with you.
Play nice.
I don't like it, but it will.
CC, and this fun?
Sam, are you coming Friday night?
I don't know, Lynn.
That's fine, I just,
We're still on, so rather than sit there and yell in my microphone. Oh, God, they're sitting in those chairs.
I know you need to get up and walk around a little bit. Sittings need.
Pardon? I don't know, Linda is not, yeah, she's got the new meeting. It's a week today. So we go, the 20th, we go for 2 weeks. And I did. Yeah. So anyway, probably not. Mainly because by the time we need to have we need to have there's so many. There's so many, and then the last Sunday, I was the program for Stoke City, Jefferson, football Sunday afternoon, and Saturday we had our open house. This week, Saturday, I go to the Wreath for Heroes on this week. And then Sunday, Linda's from this week, so we even then decorating. Hopefully we get about 3. So they got toys, and bears, cranes.
LP, how are you? Living the dream, man, living the dream.
Bill Gratz called me this morning a couple times.
Do what, I'm sorry?
Bill Gratz called me this
Next
morning a
year,
couple times.
say, hey.
Keeping you busy?
Well, he's, wanted to know what Towson's tax rate is.
Taos don't have property tax either, do they? They do have one? Because Wardsville does not.
No, but I'm assuming that's what he's fishing for.
Yeah.
340.
Yeah.
There's another one.
You got a few businesses out there now, that would help them.
You guys are busy Friday night, right? You're not coming?
I don't know yet.
Okay, well, that's all right, we always have plenty.
Busy, but assume November turnover will come, coming soon.
Turnover,
I guess it's on the 10th, it's the 11th.
we don't even have November,
Okay. No worries.
November bank statement.
Okay, all right, I was just curious.
We're having,
Thursday.
it's a mess.
Okay.
You think stuff was screwed up before.
Okay, okay.
We're having some real issues. Shingle shot got me. We have to do distribution by Friday. Up at 2:30 this morning.
That's the November
Yeah.
distribution.
We'll have to have the books closed.
Friday, okay.
That's
All right.
what I'm doing. And I cut it, the covers, I turned a little heater on, I turned the heat on, I put the hoodie on, I put slippers on. Oh, man. Yeah. Go talk to people that have had Sheila.
No, I
Kinda talked me into it, but then my doctor said, go get it. And I said, well, I'm not gonna lose weight or cut down on drinking, so I'll go get the shingle shot. That way at least I can say I did something.
Linda had it in her face, and they were worried it would go to her eyes.
Didn't Sheila have it in her eyes?
Yeah, she did.
She,
Yeah.
and shingles
Yeah.
is,
All right.
okay.
All right, see ya.
Oh.
Yeah, we just paid for those AED machines.
I was ready to stretch too.
Check isn't cleared, but we paid for them.
That's for me.
You squeezing me in next?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll just,
Yeah, Locke must have got my message in, because I asked him to wait till 10:30.
yeah.
He didn't respond to my
Yeah.
email, but he,
12 minutes.
We take a lot less time than that if you just say yes.
We're gonna put it in the pool. Put it in hot. And then everybody can draw, whoever's name we draw.
I emailed Larry this morning, just because I know you said something about possibly doing, what we do an MOU, but, and then we went over your budget yesterday without you. but, Just want to make
Thanks.
sure. Well, now we can go over it again with you here, so, yeah.
What page are
Anyway,
we on?
we knew you were busy though.
We are.
I need to buy you some checks too.
Collector's budget is 24, page 24. And that's really the only thing. We decided just up the postage and not the printing and binding. Is that what we?
Yes, I think that's where
decided on?
we're
Yeah.
at.
Postage 30,000, printing and binding stay at 34. Okay. So we made those changes.
Are we starting or are we waiting for them to get back? Or what? I mean,
I don't know if we had any changes besides your salary change.
Yeah, it
We
was
were
just
kinda putting
salary,
that in
is
a-
that-
I really wanted to address the salary thing, especially because I read the newspaper this morning and I found it very disturbing to say that I was requesting $2,000 bonuses for my employees. That certainly was not my request. I'm asking for raises, which again, I've asked for the last couple of years and virtually got little or nothing. I think my employees have certainly earned it. I've never been one to come before the commission and ask for money that I didn't think was necessary for the operation of my office, and I don't recall that I ever regularly came and asked for salary increases. I've always been pretty much felt that all employees should be treated fairly, and the COLAs the last few years have been pretty sufficient. But just like every other department that comes in front of you, and you know, when you hear that the health department's asking for $7,000 raises for each RN, and I realize that's a specialized position, but what the work my employees do is pretty specific also. It's not just a clerical position where you can walk up behind the counter and process the payments and all the other works that goes with bankruptcies and escrow companies and everything else, tax sale, and I'm just advocating for that increase in their salary, certainly not bonuses. And again, I bring in $1 million. The tax, just the commission, the collector's commission brings in $1 million a year. Again, that was originally intended for the operation of the collector's office when it was changed in the statutes where the collector used to collect the commission, paid all his staff and employees and expenses out of that commission he received. Whenever that was changed, that salaries were given to the collector, and then a budget was created for the collector that the county paid because they were getting that commission. It was still intended to cover expenses of the collector's office, so we're budgeting approximately half of what I bring in and just in collector's commission, not counting other fees and the county taxes we collect and all that other funds for the operation of the county. I know that at one time, we had MOUs. I had an MOU with the commission. We did away with that several years back when you all tried to do away with all of them. As I understand, you have some in place again now, and I'm more than willing to do an MOU to cover that expense. And if it's not spent that way, after I pay for the upgrades that are being made in the collector's office this year, my tax maintenance fund will have overage that'll go to the commission every year that will more than cover that expense. So I guess I'm just trying to plead my case that I think my employees have earned it, and I think that there's more than enough money generated out of the tax maintenance fund and the collector's commissions to cover a relatively small increase in my overall budget.
To clarify, the collector's request, for full-time, it was 3% COLA and an additional 2% for your 3 full-time employees. There was never I don't see it, that's what I got here. I didn't see a 2,000.
Maybe
Was
I
there
didn't
additional
copy you,
2,000?
maybe I didn't copy you on the email.
Okay.
I was going for the COLA plus the 2,000.
Oh,
There's the email, and he wasn't on it.
He wasn't on it?
I'll forward it.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Quick more.
okay. Because this is what I got put in your budget request. The department requested amount included what I got from you originally was 3% COLA and 2% adjustment, so that's what's in the department request.
Right.
Mine is just the COLA 500 plus, or 2.2 plus 500
Yeah,
per employee.
I
Okay.
apologize for not including you. I don't know why I would have left you out, but
He didn't get to vote anyway.
Yeah. These numbers are in the budget already,
Yeah.
that's what it was
So-
gonna stay, yeah.
So in
Or-
your budget, you got your 223, 968,
That's just COLA.
that's just.
That's just the 500, or 2.2% plus 500 per employee. Yeah, that's all I put in the budget, in most
And then
everybody's budget.
Larry's asking a 2.2 plus 25.
plus 2.
Well, we have
Well,
2.25.
You're
Yeah,
doing
2.2 plus 5, I'm calling the COLA that we
Gotcha.
have and adding
Sorry.
2,000 to it,
Yes.
right? Okay. Make sure we're both on not the 2.2
So
plus
your
just
request
2,000.
is the COLA plus 2,000 per
Yes.
year for your other 3, for your 3 full-time. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So I think because of the mismatch of your COLA versus your COLA, the difference between you two guys is not it's not 3,000, it's $2,697, isn't
It'd be more than that.
it? Well,
now.
Well, you're,
now, is it?
Yeah, he's asking for 2,000 per employee. Mine,
Originally
what I
was-
put in was 2%, what I thought pretty sure I got from you originally was 2%, yeah, so 2,800 total. So
6,000.
3,000 per employee would be 6,000 total.
Well, so the number that shows up under department requested is different.
Different
it's
than now from what.
226.
He's
But
changed it
it's
since
done, which is-
August. He's changed
Oh,
it since
okay.
August.
So
Yeah,
what-
these come to me in like August the department requests have to get to me by
Okay,
September
so
1st.
What's the new number for the request? A hard dollar amount?
You could plug in 2,000 on each one.
232,565. If you're adding,
232?
yeah, 232,565, if you take his August ask and then add the 6,000, 2,000 each for 3.
Well, what was in the August ask? It
The
was-
August ask was
226,5.
No, it was
No, I'm talking
2%
about
was in there.
percentage.
Oh,
Why?
2%.
5% total,
5%
basically.
total.
Oh, here,
Yeah, just plug 2 in each one of those.
yeah. the ask is now just a little bit under 230,000.
And what was my original ask?
Original ask was 226.
So it's about 4,000 more.
4,000.
Looks like 229, 771, 40. 229,
Right.
771 and 40 cents.
That's the current
That's
ask.
without benefits. Are you on
Without
benefits?
No, I
Okay.
just wanted the top number.
Okay, that's the right one, right, Mark?
Yeah.
That's the new ask.
It's 229.
229,772. Whatever. Yeah.
And then the old one was the 226,565, right?
Alright. Think- You want to reiterate kind of what we've been kind of
Well, we were talking about having a CRM pool, an adjustment pool set aside in GR, anywhere from 150 to whatever it would take for some of these asks. And then going back through HR to verify the market for those positions and how that affects other departments in the county too. So,
In other words, I'm asking for fairness for I didn't ask for anything but 3%, the COLA, so. But I think if they go back and approve increases for similar type offices, collector, recorder, county clerk, commission, I hope
I
they would treat me
understand.
the same, yeah.
I agree
So,
with
well,
that.
I would ask the county to look at it, all those departments at the same time, so. That's my request.
I don't
so.
know, I guess at least right now, I don't know where my department stands compared to yours, or the recorders, or the clerks, or treasurer, or any of the other ones, so, you know.
They're all over the place. We've had some ask for 10%, some ask for dollar numbers like you did, and so
well,
that's gonna be the fun part too. I think we're just throwing it in there, and I think that's just gonna be a discussion amongst itself. Kind of way I'm saying, I think that's kind of the intent of it, so.
and some of them have gotten out of whack because under an elected official, as you know, the budget is yours, right? So then if somebody leaves with tenure and spreading that money out, it really does no
It
service.
screws the rest of the employees.
Yes, definitely a disservice and a heartening one too.
So we've eliminated a position down in your office. Some of that went to increasing their pay. Other offices have vacant positions and use that money and then,
That was over 10 years ago,
So-
though.
I wasn't saying it in a bad way. I meant that.
Well, I'm
since
just
my
saying,
time.
it's, you know.
And you've survived with it that way. And so I'm not saying that really affects today's ask.
I don't think I've pushed the way some other elected officials have in the past, so I've certainly not taken advantage of the situation when I had money left in my payroll account to increase salaries that then you would have had to bump it up the next year anyway because of spending excess funds like some elected officials have. You know, I've always I'm very cognizant of the fact that county employees should be treated fairly and they should be treated on a similar type basis as Mark and Debbie are alluding to. But
Yes.
I still think my employees put in the extra effort for the county and are deserving. And I wouldn't be here if I didn't feel that. And you've never seen me make this plea before, so, till this year, so. Shouldn't say plea, request. Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, LB.
Actually, they have to do
Yeah. Just kinda think the
I
same
didn't,
thing.
okay, garbage,
Okay.
Does he come at all? Did he come that day or was that gone?
Second day of last
He
week,
did.
yeah, I think, oh, yeah, everybody.
okay.
Yeah. Yep,
78 is his budget, start with revenue, but I don't know. You guys kind of went over that.
Yeah, we did. And then Harry, you and I went over some numbers yesterday, which I'm gonna trust you with a lot more than myself. Yes.
So let me see if I've got these straight. Yesterday, prosecuting attorney and I, the prosecutor brought a list. You probably don't have these, do you?
It's the same, what I sent out on that spreadsheet.
Okay.
That's just,
you sent all the commissioners, right?
Yes,
know
I
you sent
did.
it to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
so you
Maybe
guys
on
all should've gotten
Friday?
that on the
Was it a
spreadsheet.
Friday?
It was last Thursday or Friday.
Thursday,
Yeah.
last week Thursday.
I was
Yeah.
around
Do you have a,
hospital, so.
you were, all three of you are on the email,
Mm-hmm.
and me.
Okay. Would you make another one for me?
Sure.
Yeah, Eric, you
Oh.
make me a copy. please.
Well, then I responded with some additional information, but,
I'm sorry.
did you, oh, you never got this, did you?
It's okay. I'm just looking for the grand total. Oh, no, the other column. I'd say it's, is it the 114?
Thanks, Harry.
She's making a couple more.
This is the-
There's some more copies coming.
The, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but the request is this column here?
No,
But
so
not the
that's,
37.5. Take that, yeah.
yeah, you take that out.
Yeah.
So that should be, so
Everything
that,
above it, right?
that is going based off of, yeah. So
Okay.
that 37.5 would go away and get redistributed. Now, also to note, that 70,000 at the bottom would not come into play until
Oh, that's right.
September.
That's right.
That's a position that would open in September of this year. Once that position opens, one of the part-time, there would be less coming out of part-time also once that 70,000 was added.
Okay. But it's kind of in the overall scheme of things, this is
Right.
what you were asking for
Generally speaking.
this many
yeah.
full-time positions?
Correct.
Okay. And I just put a sum of that, $1,318,680.
Right,
Okay.
okay.
All right.
Compared to, what's the current? Or is that just the additional column in D? What's the difference?
That's a difference.
It is.
Yeah.
That's the difference
D is
per
the
each
difference.
specific
Yeah.
employee.
Yeah, so. Which is down from your original request
Yeah.
that went in the budget
For-
of 1.4,
Yeah, yeah.
1.451 million, yeah, okay. So that is down at least about 123,000, something like that.
So without that new position, it's about a $44,000 worth of adjustments? Is that what I'm seeing? Take that 70 out
Yes.
of it.
Yeah, take the
Yes.
70 out, yeah.
Yes.
As I looked at the schedule the first time,
Mhm.
the third or the second column
Right.
that's in front of each of you added, with all the numbers in there, added to 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 80.
Okay.
All right? Now, should we modify that up or down or a little bit because of the 70 and the 37.5 or not?
So the 37.5 would still
Stay
be
there.
there, it just gets reallocated to help cover the costs of some proposed raises I would have. The
Okay.
70,000, I mean, that wouldn't hit until September,
So,
mid-September.
September, October, November, so 2/3 of it is not needed.
Correct.
And
But
let's
that's
just,
the one that you're anticipating is gonna pass the bar in September, is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
so that's basically rounded, but it's 40,000 less.
Right.
Okay, so now that's 1,356,000. No, it isn't. It's 1,316,000, right?
Yes, if you're
70.
subtracting 40 from that.
And help me out on the part-time.
Yeah, so I know that when initially I was getting ready to do budget stuff, initially I proposed a full-time prosecutor and a full-time investigator. And I know there was a little bit of reluctance to do that. So what I did subsequently have one of my part-time prosecutors come to me and say, hey, I'm probably leaving at some point in 2025. I can kind of hold on and still do some part-time stuff until you can get someone else in here. We have a Rule 13 intern who we went ahead and offered employment upon passage of the bar. Initially, my thought was, well, I could just transition that part-time position to a full-time position. However, I do still have a need for at least a part-time investigator. I could probably get by with a part-time investigator for this year. So at some point, one of those $40 an hour people would be gone and probably replaced with a part-time prosecutor who would, or sorry, a part-time investigator who would be making, I haven't figured it out yet, but less than what that $40 an hour would be. Probably somewhere more in the region of about $25 an hour. So the amount coming out of part-time would go down whenever that position would open up in September.
So I'm not sure exactly what to plug in for part-time. I think I had a rough and dirty yesterday.
We had a rough yesterday of about 96.
Yeah.
And right now we're at, the original request was 1 something, I think.
Okay, let's just put
115.
Yeah.
196.
Yeah.
The adjusted total that from above of 1316780 needs to be boosted by about 31% for fringes or
Mhm.
pennies. Okay, so somebody tell me what 31% of 1316780 is.
$408,201.08.
So we're looking at $1,007,282. $1,724,982 maybe, plus the 96 part-time. If I've done everything correctly, I have 1,820,982 for personal services. which is like $16,000 more than that column. Are you with me, Mark? You've got $1,000,008. Your budget officer, you said
Oh, yeah,
$1,004,326.
for everything, yeah.
I'm within, I thought it'd be coming in lower than that.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
There's
As a
PA,
part-time.
No, wait a minute, that's your number. Oh, no, that's his number. So we're at $1,820,000 right now.
Okay,
So you got
Okay.
pretty close to
Yeah.
Mark's number. That made sense.
okay.
Yeah, sorry.
unless you needed to add a little more, it's not, our PA, our required contribution to the PA retirement.
Oh.
That's in that
Yeah.
total
Okay.
too.
So
That
another 16.
you might wanna add a little more to your number, yeah. I
That'd
think.
be $1,000,008. What is it, 16,800?
I think, yeah, that should be an exact amount. I think I got the latest monthly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's 100, or 16,800.
Unless that goes, I don't know if
Yeah, I
we'll
was
ever get a
gonna-
letter
if
from
that-
them soon to increase
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, who knows?
I never
I would
know.
be.
You'll find out when I
Amanda's
find
right,
out.
$1,838
Okay.
versus $1,804.
Okay.
And we gotta maybe check these numbers later, but
Yeah,
we're not too far away. We're $34,000
Yeah.
above the budget officer is your current ask, I think.
Correct.
I think there's a big one missing on that spreadsheet.
On which one?
This one right here, under the Wilson one, she's currently.
Oh, that contemplates a promotion for her as office manager.
well, that's on her. That's on
Yeah,
his
it's
request.
showing
He said.
there.
But that's a
yeah.
cost of $7,500. That's not in the adjustment.
Right,
Oh, it's
because
on
I
the
was under the
adjustment, yeah,
impression that
okay.
that had been
Oh, that-
signed off on
oh,
previously,
okay.
but I guess it has
Her
not.
current
So
salary is,
that would
right
be
now is 48.
right,
Another 7,500.
another 7,500. Yes.
That's just one thing I see.
Let's say eight.
She got. she's getting-
$1,846 rounded.
A
getting
promotion.
promoted.
Yeah. Mhm.
I'd like to clean the numbers up a little bit, but
Well,
I think-
that's something I think that's something I will do.
Sure.
Certainly going forward, making sure I got everybody's current numbers.
Right.
Current
And I-
salaries,
and I jumped the gun
COLAs,
thinking
and
that that had
then
been- yeah.
Go back and make sure we're on the
Right.
same page as everybody
Yeah.
else's,
Yeah.
everybody's asks for,
I-
yeah,
Okay.
so.
I think, Mark, after you do the quote cleanup, you're gonna be in the neighborhood of a million. No, he's gonna be in $1,846,000 is gonna be his ask,
Okay.
as opposed to,
A lot
I think
more.
that makes
$1,804,000.
sense.
No,
What did
804
I-
was your number.
No, I'm
He's-
saying
he's-
as in
yours coming
as
up
opposed to
quite a
my
bit.
initial
Yeah.
ask, which contemplated 2 full-time positions.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think-
he was
well,
at 2074.
Just
wasn't it?
adding up the asks, and I'm even putting 70,000 in for.
The new guy.
The new guy, that was, so 1.318 versus your ask of 1.4, just full-time.
Mhm.
1.451, so that is 123,000, which would knock your number down and take off some benefits too.
Right.
Yeah, it's good, yeah,
Okay.
I think your quick and dirty calculation looks, looks pretty close, yeah, that's pretty close.
But what are we doing?
But are you gonna tell Locke the same thing you were telling everybody else?
I'm gonna go at
we'll
like
put
a tentative, what did I say to Eric, first one? Was it tentative? No.
Yeah,
Tentative, yes.
Yes, yeah, like we
Uh,
put this extra money in a pot,
Well,
salary
I guess so, but we
reserve.
already know how he'd wanna split it, because he's shown his
Yeah,
cards
I
right
know,
here.
but so is everybody else, though,
Yeah,
too.
right.
they're willing
Yeah.
to do that too.
Everybody else was too, so, I mean,
Sure.
everybody else had their specific.
I
The
gave a
request for
tentative
each
yes to,
employee, so-
Eric, a tentative yes to
But
Christie.
just, you got a good, Tell Locke what everybody else you were.
Basically,
kinda
they were
telling.
gonna set up a salary pool within GR,
Mhm.
and your people are in GR.
Mhm.
Look at the market for the positions that you're wanting to change to those proposed salaries.
Mhm.
Make sure they're in line, and then, could be done by the end of the third
Okay.
check in January.
Sure, okay.
But what I understood was the total maybe increase is about 51, but you're willing to give up a position that was paying the 37.5
Correct,
for the difference in that, so that position would go away.
right.
So net would be about 14,000. So that's what I was hearing. So, but yes, it would go into that pool.
Okay.
All right.
That's a full-time?
It was a full-time position.
prosecutor.
No, it was a full-time,
Legal.
sorry, the eliminated position was a full-time legal
No, the-
assistant.
Yeah, you're gonna eliminate the open position.
Right.
And you're gonna add a full-time prosecutor,
Add a
right?
full-time prosecutor, he'll come in
And a part-time
September.
investigator.
And well, basically the part-time, we have two part-time prosecutors right now. Basically, one of those positions would become a part-time investigator position that would not pay out at the same rate as one of the part-time prosecutors does.
Okay, so you're not even adding an investigator, you're just.
I'm not, I
stepping
would
in.
just convert one of the part-time prosecutors to part-time investigator. All I'm adding is one full-time prosecutor.
Actually, almost a half-time prosecutor, because that open position you're eliminating, right?
But you're
Well,
wanting
the
to-
position I'm
Replacing that
eliminating
with
was a
a-
legal assistant.
September.
But also wanting to use that for the adjustments, basically.
Actually, you're
Okay,
gonna, you're
okay.
gonna
I
try
got
to
you,
get
yes.
by next year,
Yes, I got you.
25, with a rookie prosecutor.
Right.
Paying that rookie prosecutor less than you paid that 37.5, because you're only paying
Because
for
of-
the
yeah,
last
for the-
quarter of
right,
the year, or the
right.
last third of the year.
Right.
Yeah, I got it, so.
So,
Okay.
I mean, all other things being equal,
Sure.
you're gonna come to us, whether your 26 budget, you're gonna wanna pay that new rookie,
Right, the,
calling him a rookie, but you're gonna pay him for a full year.
right, right.
So we would expect
A bump.
a bump.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think there was anything else besides salaries, was there?
I don't think there are any questions, and you were okay with, yeah, all the other numbers.
Yeah, I was.
Line items, I think that was all. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
in the
that all
budget.
capital
That's in the
improvement
capital
stuff,
budget,
yeah.
Is your HVAC working okay?
Well, they're still up there.
Are they still there? Okay.
Yeah, it's taken a little more time than we thought. I know that they had to call in a structural engineer at one point.
But
that-
they have a little more weight on the roof
Yeah,
than they
which
expected,
caused
maybe.
that caused a little bit of a delay, but it's moving along. They're getting stuff insulated up there now,
I
so.
think they found that there was not a beam there, but the blueprint said there wasn't.
Yeah, something like that. So they are almost done with 2/3 of the office. They need to start on the other third once they're done with the first part.
Yeah, the crane today.
That's what I heard. I'm sad I missed it.
Unit off.
Yeah, I get here early and it was
Yeah.
still
They were here
there.
at 5.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a little.
Looked like
that's
they
a
were
little
getting about
before my
ready to
wake-up
leave
time.
at
Yeah.
6:45.
Let the record show that the commissioners were the last ones to get directed HVAC system. They went to first floor, third floor.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, you guys asked for that,
that
though.
was because of the clerk doing the.
That was the
That
clerk.
was the election
doing
stuff,
That was
yeah.
the election.
Yeah.
It's because we're gracious commissioners.
Yes.
We wait till the.
Right,
So
right.
we're gonna freeze our tushes off here. in
Child support.
January 5th.
Just
Yes.
Make sure we're.
Yeah, I'm
Because we
good
got
with
another
Sarah's request on
Okay,
child
so Sarah's
support.
request is
Yeah.
standing.
Yeah,
That's
and
the
that-
other page 70, child
Yeah.
support. Now,
And that, again, I think Sarah confirmed that that entire amount still gets covered by the state, so.
it will,
county would
but
not be
of
out any
course,
money.
being consistent with everybody
Right.
else, I only put in the COLAs.
Okay,
On
okay,
on
yeah.
everybody, so.
So I would still
So
ask
that would be
for-
another one, I'm sorry.
Right, yeah.
Another part of his office you'd have to also look at,
Right,
consider
right.
too. There, I could try and pull that up if you wanna go over that real quick or look at it real quick.
Yeah, I think Sarah had to
got
run to
this.
court in a different county, but I can,
I think I got it.
Talk about it a
Let me
little bit.
Pull this up, if
Yeah.
I can find it here real quick. Where is that? Sorry, here we go. Oops. It copied sideways, sorry.
Rotate.
Darn. Can you do that?
I don't know, you can there.
PDF.
go down and see if it puts that up there to increase it or remove it.
Go show
Oh,
them,
that's
Jess.
No,
on the left.
I don't know. Yeah, you, anybody good?
We'll let one of these
What's that
youngsters
hit?
figure it out for us.
Look, what's this button say?
Oh, there we go.
There you go. I like
Are
that.
you going?
There it is.
All
All right.
Yay.
We gotta get the young one in the room.
Turn that off. How do I turn that? What did I hit? I don't know.
Hit escape,
Cancel.
cancel.
Okay, so yeah, so yeah, for Sarah's,
We would
that's
just
a
look at
fairly
that.
substantial increase.
Yeah,
Um,
Sarah's in a supervisory capacity, with her being essentially sort of like the first assistant or supervising attorney of child support. I wanted to make sure her salary kind of reflected that, and her years of experience. That was something that hadn't really been touched for a while, so I wanted to make sure that we got her more in line with a supervisor's role, which is for that, why that big jump is there.
But what increase I think is for this person here, right? Because
Yeah, so-
current, proposed, the other two are the same,
Right.
and a little bit of bump for that
Mm-hmm.
person, so,
Mhm.
okay.
Yep.
So, again, we look at it, this, as you look at everybody. And, correct, these increases would still fall within your
Right.
total, the grant,
Yeah.
the state's budget.
State
for the
budget
fund.
for the, yeah.
Yeah, so basically that office is everything gets reimbursed from the state.
Right.
Okay, all right, just want to
Okay.
get that out there.
Saw you on
Good.
TV.
What did I do?
America's Most Wanted.
They were in-
That's not good.
They were in there last night.
Oh, the ghost gun thing, probably.
Yeah, yeah, they go, yeah.
I wasn't on TV. I talked to them on the phone.
Well, so they
have cameras in my
normally
truck?
they go to Bill Tackett, is kind of like their legal expert, which.
I'm glad
so
I could take
I'd
over.
rather,
Yeah.
I'd rather do somebody a little more.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. Oh, and John, I'll send you that
Okay,
email.
Yeah, I appreciate that, thank you.
all right.
Okay, so,
Okay, well, let's just recap over the salaries real quick, okay?
We've hit everybody's budget, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
My husband was just on it.
And make sure we didn't miss any. Go ahead. I just
Okay,
wanna-
well, EMS, it sounds like you guys were ready to approve their new pay scale. We would have to know that one to move forward with the budget. If you do approve that, I'd like that separately approved, because that's the way we do. The sheriff has his own pay scale, and it has steps within it too. Then everybody would get the 2.2 and the 500. So then we'll move to Public Works. Public Works
So
is
why are we doing EMS? You're saying, yeah, we can go ahead and approve it. Why is it different than anybody else's?
because they came up with a new pay scale, and you guys
So
had a
if the
pay.
auditor comes up with a pay scale, we can just,
If you approve it, you
approve his.
previously had approved EMS's scale.
their
and
own
they-
scale.
They've been on that scale for 2 or 3
No,
years.
no, we didn't approve the new scale yet, did we?
No, I said that's what I'm saying, you'll have to
I
approve.
think you were all
first.
leaning toward.
Oh, I thought
approving
you said
that,
we
but
just did approve it, or we
She
already
said
did.
we needed.
You gave verbal. I think all three of you agreed to Eric's proposal, right? Day one of yesterday.
Kind of
right?
like if he feels like it's gonna work, I'm still not necessarily convinced, but.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
I
well,
couldn't remember. I thought.
Well, I
thought
think
you were
there's
mostly
always,
on board with that.
there was some hesitancy on the number of years on the schedule.
Oh, that was the
Yeah.
10-year cap.
9
That
or
was
10
one.
cap part.
so
It was a
here,
pretty big jump for everybody at the start of it too, so we're gonna do that for other people in our little side pool. You got some asking for 2%, 10%. Locke was just here, he's got, a bunch of different amounts, anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000, and
Well, I think that's where Dave's leading us about, but she's getting there by going. started with
get the other
EMS.
funds over with. But you can change your mind. Okay, EMS is, we will redo their budget based on the new rate scale.
so,
You guys will still have to approve that if that's what you want to do.
okay, so you're gonna put all the asks in there?
It basically is on that one.
And so is there gonna be a separate line for what, except for EMS probably doesn't have a separate line, but these other places, we've kind of talked about this.
I guess I'm just saying, it's hard for me to say yes to them and then
Okay.
come back and say no to the prosecutor. And, you know, some of them may not get their full ask, maybe we give them a partial,
Okay,
or
I'll
we see where
restate
that pot
this.
is. We got one that asked for a 10% across the board.
Right. Okay,
And we're gonna throw that in there and say, oh, okay, well, you asked for it, you get it.
No,
I'll restate.
no.
EMS. So everybody, what's in the budget right now is the 2.2 and the 500, for sure, that's in there. So EMS, they proposed a new rate scale. You'll have to approve it or not approve it. The sheriff's department, again, that COLA is in there. He's on a rate scale for different levels of positions and how long they've been in those positions. You guys approved that a while back. So we're still on that. But then Public Works, you guys approved their career plan. So what's in the budget now is their career plan and the COLAs. But he's asking for an additional 82 with the plan.
So-
I'm suggesting putting that into
And
the,
that line that's called pool or whatever.
yes, for
reserve.
that to then to be reviewed.
2 years ago, we
and-
called it salary reserve.
Right.
That account's set up. We could do the same thing this
Right.
time. The account's already there.
Right.
Remind me, does the career plan forego the COLA? I mean, they got these built-in raises, right, every year?
Not every year, just certain people when they hit the threshold of,
And it's
you
not
seen
every
them, there
year.
was 4 or 5.
Because EMS has steps, that's each year.
Right,
And they did not have a COLA in theirs.
right. It's got their built-in
So-
COLA.
Yeah.
Public Works pay scale is more based on years of service as they transition through additional skills.
Yeah.
It's
And the
not
career
yearly.
path is just like a one-time
One time every
boost.
so many
Yeah,
years.
every so
yeah.
many years.
Well, if
yeah.
they go to, they get promoted from operator 1 to 2 or whatever.
Then they
Yeah.
That
just
doesn't
put
mean that
different-
just because they have 2 or 5 years in that they get that. But-
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and so putting that aside, and then you get to the big one, which has a lot of people involved, which is GR. GR, we have the nurses, the collector's office, building maintenance, we have the PA's office, child support, and, you know, when the collector came up and asked for what he's doing, then that, to me, would have to look at the commission people, the auditor people, the clerk people, and the recorder people as well. So. Treasurer, oh, sorry.
Throw one more,
Treasurer.
yeah.
So all of that could be, and we need to look at all of that. We need to look at how it affects the other departments. So putting aside $150,000 to $160,000 in GR, because right now, the nurses were 42,000, you know. I was just trying to add up all of that. We're probably about 100,000 already. That's without adding in the recorder, the collector, the auditor, the commission, the treasurer. So giving that some money for for market adjustments that may happen to certain positions throughout the year. Like, the health department is really just concentrating on the nurses now. You know, if Sheila does, and she has done it in the past, looked at those nurses, and if it's warranted, then we'll come to you and ask you to approve that separately out of this money.
I backtrack one
Yep,
on the COLA.
yep,
You okay with the proposed COLA?
yes, we should start there, I guess.
You're all okay with the 2.2% plus 500?
Sure.
The equivalent total is right at 3%.
Yeah, there's 1,000 different ways we could do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I had asked you to see if you did a 1% for merit, but the way we're doing this now, probably,
Yeah, I did figure I think we were right. 1% on general fund is about 80,000.
At the risk of being just not going along with the crowd, I'd make it 2%. Plus $500.
Just 2%, okay.
But I'll probably get outvoted. That's just,
I was trying to come as close to
The
3% total, so I think I looked at 2%, then I went up to 2.5, and it was.
Right.
One was a little under, one was
If
a
I
little
lose it
over, so I
2-1.
kinda right went in the middle.
2.2.
And to stay with what Mark is saying, you know, we looked at the state, we looked at the city, to make sure that we were in line with what they're doing.
What did, the city was a
Yeah.
month ahead of us on the year end.
Yes,
What did they do?
God, what did I say? I had that all written down. on
And the
phone.
state, we don't know the state's number yet, do we?
Well, in July
Well,
they
in
gave.
July, they
Well,
had,
yeah, okay, but we don't know the next.
they're
one.
always six, we're always, I mean,
Well,
we're
you know,
gonna be every 6 months different.
Governor
with
Parson jumped out there, when he saw Social Security do a 8.3, he did an 8.3, right? And we were
Last
behind the
year,
ball.
yep.
And so
That was
security,
something.
yeah, they
right.
were, they
And
were
Yeah, we were
less than
behind the
3.
state.
Social
COLA, 'cause
Security
they
is
got that big
2.5, I
COLA.
think.
Yes,
It's just Social Security for not 2025 is gonna be 2.5% over 20.
Yeah.
So.
We're
you
in
know,
the
if
ballpark.
We're in the ballpark either with a 2 or 2.2,
Okay.
or 2.0 or 2. We're in the ballpark.
right. So,
I'm good with 2.2, so it's Jeff's
Leave
high.
it, leave it 2.2 right now. If we make some adjustments somewhere, we need to find that 0.2%, that might tell you what we do.
Because after today, I'm
And
gonna
we've,
start
you know,
tweaking
we've
these
never-
numbers, so I wanna, that's,
I don't
wanna
want to get
start
down in the
that.
weeds on this, but we've never, I've only been here 4 years, but we've never had this 500 plus.
No.
Yeah, we
It's
have.
been a while,
Well,
but
not,
it's,
not while
Oh,
I've.
not in
been
the 4
here.
years, I got
So,
it.
but,
Okay.
and I'm not looking out for elected officials here, but elected officials can have a COLA if everybody else gets a
yeah.
COLA.
Yeah, they can have
I'll
that.
pencil that in.
But-
That is a COLA, 500 per.
I got it.
Plus,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that can be added, that will be added to the elected officials' salaries too, whatever
I got
COLA
it.
you decide on, yeah.
and we've heard nothing but in the last few years, compression. And, when you give a flat percentage every year, as they say, the higher it gets higher and the lower doesn't move as much. So we used to have
Let's
every
say
other
more.
year that we would do that, a
Well,
flat
I
amount.
like the idea of that $500
Yeah.
because that family that's in the $40,000 area, their eggs and bacon and gas and everything else has gone up, just like
It's the same as
anybody.
Yes.
100,000.
That's right.
There are a couple,
Absolutely.
a few six-figure
And you
employees we
remember
got.
when the state, one time, the state just said anybody who was below 70
Right,
That's
got
right.
a bump, and those above 70 didn't.
Got nothing.
What happened is some people at 69 jumped over the people that were at 70.
yeah, that would not work too
That didn't work very
well.
well, yeah.
Yeah. But that's exactly, I think it's
Okay, so,
time.
have you run through everybody, or you will go
Um,
through everybody?
I've
We're
got
done with
most of
everybody. We've
Yeah.
heard from everybody.
So,
So if you don't mind, we'll just make those adjustments. I mean, if you have a different dollar figure that you want for that, I mean, 150, 200, whatever you want for GR, or we could just leave it at 150 and see where we end up.
Well, we will
budget-wise.
start running, I'll start running the
Change it up.
salaries again, updating most current. We always
Yep,
look at, we start our spreadsheet with the most current,
Yep.
and then add the COLA, then we'll look at what everybody, each department asks in addition to that. That difference will be that, I mean, we can round it, but if we,
Sure.
but after we do that computation, then we'll know.
we'll know
We'll
where
put
we
a,
are.
propose a number, we'll put in the salary reserve.
Johnny's got a
number,
question.
so, yeah.
No, I gotta pee.
But, yeah, sure.
So, just out of curiosity, do you know a rough number, what that 0.2% is? If we do 2% versus 0.2, what?
Oh, gosh. 1% was,
Was
$20,000
at least
or-
in general revenue, 1% is 80,000,
Okay,
about
so
80,000,
16,000.
so, yep,
yeah,
It's not much.
it's not
Yeah,
much.
I was just trying to figure out if that would help our CRAM pool, or the ACRM or pool.
Oh, well.
So,
Well,
It
just
would.
remember, we have passed off a little cost to the employee this year for their health insurance. Keep that in the back of your mind.
That
$10.
0.2% could offset, would
Yeah.
offset the additional health insurance.
Yeah. For the ones that took the PPO, right? So,
it's gonna go up more in the years to come. I gotta be ready for that, I'm afraid.
I don't
think
doubt.
we need to prepare everybody for that.
Yeah.
We can eat it and have these great benefits, but then we keep running into public works. They're gonna have people that are gonna leave and, heck, they might be able to operate a $250,000 piece of equipment, but for $30 an hour, they can go down here and do some remodeling.
And
for somebody.
I have sympathy for that. It's just the way of the world right now. Nobody's staying.
I'm just saying that if
People
you got
move.
people that are
You're not
qualified to
gonna
do other
fix
stuff,
that.
we're gonna lose them to that stuff.
Yeah.
Jailers, I
Right.
mean, do you wanna be locked up inside the jail for, what's our hours, 12-hour shifts, or you
Yes.
wanna go do construction for 8 hours and, you know,
Oh, I understand, but,
so that's why we're losing a lot of it. It's,
so
There's money
Mark
out there.
we'll refigure this. Probably won't meet again, we'll meet tomorrow for the health insurance at 1, right?
Yeah,
Or
we
one
talk
thirty.
about maintenance at all, because I've
Yeah.
got
Is
a
it
piece
just
of paper
health?
here on my
Yeah.
desk.
I would suggest those few that you want Sheila to concentrate on and to get started. If you want to do specific ones before, and have it in the budget, we can do that. If you want to address maintenance, starting salary, if you want to look at the nurses now, Sheila's got to get some direction on which ones you want her to start with first.
I would look at maintenance, I would look at equipment operator ones, nurses, I think you've already done
The
the nurses.
nurses,
So
yeah.
basically, you just need to, but I think some of these, and even at emergency management, they're.
But But I think right now, Sheila she's got the nurses done. Building maintenance, she can compare that to what Public Works is talking about with their maintenance people. And she's already kind of done that too, so she can give a report on that to you guys, and she could give a report before the budget's finalized, but we just definitely got to get going on the numbers.
What day do I need to get that scheduled to you, available to the public?
I put it in the paper already, and I think it's got to be available 10 days before the public hearing, for the public. It's got to be in the paper for
So-
5, so,
7th is when it's.
so I need
Okay.
to, by the
I know I got-
28th or the
I'm-
27th.
I got
Greg out?
a week or more to at least get that all.
Did he ever make a presentation on this?
Who,
He
Greg?
did when we, last week.
Greg, is that who you're asking about?
Yeah,
maintenance?
so did we
Yeah.
put his ask in?
His was not a formal ask, he gave a ballpark.
You put a number in there for him, yeah.
Yeah,
And
well,
he did give me comparison information, however, his comparison information included Springfield, which is out of line with any rational comparison. I pulled Boone because their job descriptions are most similar to ours. He has reviewed and revised them. And the spreadsheet I gave you is my concern
Oh, this
with,
came from you then?
it did.
Okay,
And
that explains
and
it.
the reason I have concerns and did that comparison is because Public Works lowest paid and maintenance are very much similar amounts right now. I know that Greg wants to validate his people and he wants to vouch for them and he wants to have the ask for them as well. My concern in comparing those two who are very much in line dollar-wise currently or with where we're going is that all of our equipment operators are CDL required. So they're licensed, they're certified to operate the heavy equipment. To me, that's a little different than custodial and maintenance. Not a lot of variance, but there is some there when we look at the comparison. That's the only thing I think we need to consider.
and those are the type things we want to definitely send them through HR to be comparing.
I guess we could throw in, I'm glad you mentioned maintenance, because that's the only, well, Locke changed his request, so he's not really asking for any more. He initially did, but Greg is asking for another full-time position. That's probably something we'd want to throw in, this pool, or reserve ACRM pool. Because your first, I mean, I know, no there, but I think your comment was, let's see what this
Yeah.
EMS cleaning contract comes
Yeah,
at, and
that's
then
how I
we'll
feel.
reconsider, you might consider it, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
because, we could have them, and I think they're doing a little bit of, not a lot of janitorial, but over at 308.
I just
They're
thought of
not-
that, that's
it's
the
not
only, now
janitorial,
that's
these
the
are
only
supposed to
other
be maintenance
department.
workers.
Well, that's what I was going to ask
What
you.
kind of maintenance are we doing? What kind of maintenance
Oh,
are we?
no, never mind.
Sheila, what
Sir.
kind of maintenance are we doing?
What kind of maintenance are we doing?
Maintenance workers, what kind of maintenance are we doing?
filters.
I
and
understand
lights.
sometimes we'll have a little bit of plumbing, but we're getting a lot of stuff bid out that if we had true maintenance workers, we should be able to do this stuff ourselves.
We are using a lot of vendor dollars for maintenance and repairs on some of that stuff that could fall under the maintenance job description. In comparison for what I know they're doing, which is not gonna be 100% complete, theirs falls closer to custodial than maintenance and the job duties that they are not contracting out.
So that's what I would argue. I just think when you have true maintenance workers, then I really have no problem giving them a better pay to do maintenance work. I mean, because we're bidding out doing power spraying on a garage door, doing some painting. They're working on the floors up there in the courthouse, and they're trying to run cables, and there's some flooring that needed to be cut to get down underneath of it. That's something we could have had somebody there doing. It's not, doesn't take a whole nother scale of knowledge to do it.
Well, and last year we did talk about in maintenance for them, Greg passed out books, like little notebooks to all of them to keep track of the tasks they did. I think that happened for a short while and then he went out on leave and it kind of got just dropped. I really have no idea, like in a big picture look of what they do as far as maintenance on a routine basis. I know what his list shows that he expects them to do, but I don't know how much of it we're actually doing.
That's what I would challenge them to do, is get us a list
2024's budget.
to see if they truly are doing maintenance or not, because we can hire people out to empty trash cans and do floors. Stairwell has the same piece of paper in there probably for, it might have been last Christmas, I don't know. But we've written dust in the things, just seeing when things get wiped, and that was one of the things when we had our separate meetings. So y'all need to just be intuitive, and if there's something that needs to be done, bring it to us. And I know Greg's been out, in and out, and stuff with his own issues, so he's not had the leadership around as much, but it's where they can step up.
They do snow, or they do grass cutting, they do,
We can hire that out
Snow.
too, pretty easy.
it's gonna be a lot cheaper.
We need to make
We
sure.
just keep doing it.
We don't even have to have all the storage over there for lawnmowers, we don't have to have maintenance on the
37.
lawnmowers, there's a lot to it. I mean, that,
But
I'd have my
that's-
grass cut
To
too,
me,
I can
that's
easily
part
do
of,
my
that's part
grass.
of maintenance.
Oh, 19, yeah, okay. So it'd be the same, that's 19.
That's just kinda where I'm at with that. I think we can hire a lot of that out,
Would be
so.
the 19, yeah, so he's
Adam.
taking quite a lot of that.
Is that it? Okay.
Are the maintenance guys moving your furniture today?
I don't know.
How about your furniture? You don't know?
Greg still, he wasn't sure. He said
Okay.
he'd get it done sometime this week, so.
And what I also, on the salary, I just want to recap, as far as FTs, EMS, 2 addition, you had 3 this year. And then the sheriff, 2, 1 being maybe funded through a different source. And then 1 asked for in maintenance. And then the way I understand it, the PA is really asking for another one as far as, we'll need to
Asking for
confirm
an
that.
additional attorney, but taking out that legal
Legal assistant.
assistant.
So I want to confirm
His
that.
net request
I think
is,
the net might be zero there.
net FTE is a zero, but, yeah.
Part-time kind of guy.
Can you think of any other FTs that would have been in there that I missed?
Addition, requests for additional,
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
What, if you were asked, what is the FTE today for the county?
The total count?
Yeah, total count today.
No, this one has general, GR.
351? Is that
Uh,
with part-timers
payroll.
on our, it's on page 18, there's a summary of our
Do you-
personnel.
Do you
138.
have several
Oh.
part-timers that come to an FTE?
No,
You don't?
No.
Just leave them out?
leave all the part-timers out.
Okay.
Because it's benefit eligible.
Right, because, yeah, they're not benefit
Those
eligible.
that are getting benefits.
When I prepared my budget, we counted 351,
Okay.
so
351 FTE.
that was in November, or
And it may.
end of October,
Maybe
yeah.
350, I'm sorry, you say
351.
351?
Two-
It may go to
two.
354.
Well, depending on, what the ask is 5, if not 6, with the PA.
But a little that is very explainable, we have another ambulance
Mhm.
located certification, right?
I mean, you have already approved those.
Right, I know.
So the other two were communications.
Communications, his two additional communications.
Yes.
And you go out there and look at our
definition of
911.
communication is not the same as someone who's telling the world what the county's doing.
Absolutely.
Our
Dispatch.
communication is dispatch.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they are medically certified, which
They're not all EMTs anymore.
they're, for dispatching, they're medically certified.
They're certified to do a
Medical.
dispatch.
Yes.
As opposed
Yeah, I thought
to-
you meant
as
they were
opposed to the-
EMTs. They're not EMTs.
The other 911, yes, it's.
They used to be
ours are-
EMTs. Okay, I just wanted you to know that. So Mark will get it together and then do you guys want to have another meeting to see the changes? from-
Well, I think you'll circulate those. By the way, when it comes, is the only way we're gonna see it is by looking at the full budget, or can you break it out just by?
Thank you.
You can go in BSNA and look per department,
Well, I'd
per
like to
fund.
see, I'd like to see a schedule. This is my ask.
Sure.
I did a schedule where I went through and I picked every one of your personal, what do you call it? Salary and benefits
He wants
budget
that salary schedule.
by
Yeah.
department.
Okay.
What you had, what the ask, and then what your number was. Now, the ask is changing a little bit. I could give you this to what it was when we started this process.
And that's
maybe
by
what-
department or
By
what?
department, and there's 20 departments, I guess, and change. And we put another column for the new ask.
What I have to prepare is, for the public, is something like this.
Yeah, this is.
And then
this is-
I just add a column, what the change from the auditors recommended to the commission
I
proposed.
was just trying to
Yeah.
not get rid of, but I didn't want to see this thing just repeated with new numbers. It could be shortened to this. And I'll do it if you don't,
Okay,
you know.
this is what we have to, we don't print, I don't print out copies of this, I just give it to maybe one copy, or I give it PDF to Debbie, so she has it available for any public,
Request.
What
requests.
you
so.
put in the paper is only this big, right?
What I put in the paper is this.
I mean, when you broadcast, publish,
It's just announcing the public hearing and when it is and
Do we
saying
have-
the
do we have
budget's
the numbers
available.
in there?
That's what you put in.
We put it in, you guys are responsible for that by statute, that you have to put the public hearing in there and tell them that the budget is available for review.
Yeah.
Come
that's
see
all it
us
is in paper.
if you want it. We don't publish this whole,
no, I know you didn't publish it all, but you see school districts, they publish about 10 lines of information.
Oh,
What you're
that's
it's
our annual
financial.
published financial statement.
Okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't go out till June.
We do
That's
that
after-
after the
That's
audit.
after the audit. We do something similar, but that's after our audited
Yeah.
financial statements are out. Yeah, that's not a budget. We don't have to publish the budget. We have to publish.
but we do
the
put it on our website
financial
after we're done,
statement. Yeah.
after it's approved. But we'll get you something on the Salary things. Once you get that, I can do it for them too. Okay, so do you want to meet again? How do we want to, let's look at the
I
calendar
think
here.
just as soon as you get that to us, it's time to sit down and meet.
Yeah, I do too. We could,
I'm just gonna say I'm out next
Tomorrow.
week, so,
We could have a meeting at our new location across the street.
no, well, if you
You
put
have to
it on the
advertise it
agenda, yeah.
good, yeah.
Yeah.
You do have an agenda on the 24th?
There's no big table there.
yeah.
We got one tomorrow at 1 o'clock if we want.
Well, we are not gonna
We
be
wouldn't
ready
be
by
ready.
then.
What?
We are not, we got
What are you
other,
doing?
we got payroll, I mean, Mark, you
Oh,
gonna be
that-
ready?
Oh, gosh, this will take us a week or more.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like the
So-
week of Christmas.
The
Yeah.
24th.
That's about the time I gotta get this to Debbie
Yep.
for public.
So 24th.
We could do the 24th, or you can come in on the 26th or the 27th, whatever you prefer.
If we do 24th, we don't have that much. We do have Stacy Buttons.
You are gonna have a regular meeting on
Yes.
Christmas Eve?
Yeah,
morning,
she
Christmas
Did
will-
you see where the governor gave Christmas Eve afternoon off?
That's gonna be your
Zip
next
it.
ask.
Would that be half, double, triple time?
Yeah,
Whatever it's
stop.
called? That doesn't, that
Does not
that double
compute the
holiday
hours
doesn't
worked.
go away until January 1, right?
Right.
Well, those 2 holidays in
Sorry I
January
brought
were
it up.
published, or the one was.
I heard
Well,
nothing.
EMS has already got
Yeah.
New Year, or Christmas Eve in there.
Yeah, and New Year's Eve and New Year's
Yes,
Day.
yes.
That's already been out there, so. Okay, so we're gonna add this to the 24th.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
that's
do
fine.
my best. If I
Okay.
can't, then
We'll
we
put
can
it
always
on.
call a special meeting
yeah.
the
And-
day
and
after,
if
2
you
days
had it
after
before
Christmas,
that,
right?
just, send it to us. But-
So did some departments have asks for adjustments for that separate pool? And it's not getting included, or are we gonna take a percentage from
No,
everybody?
we're gonna put everybody in that. It's-
Yeah, I mean, you heard from most of them, PA, child support, the health department, the collector, building maintenance.
Did we
and-
put one in for Debbie? I don't
Judy,
remember putting one in for Debbie.
Debbie Hood.
Commission, she had a
Did
request.
ask for more than
She
that.
had a
Yeah,
request
yeah,
for
yeah,
the-
it did.
That'll
The
be,
commission.
But the big thing is, you guys do have
Okay, I'm
that.
using that as an example. We're
I
gonna
know.
put 3% or 10% in there, 10% asking.
Well, in that pool should be your all's direction for department heads. I'm gonna ask you that, right? So you control all the
But you wanna
department
ask us
heads.
now, so we
No,
can
I'm
put that
not
in
s-
that separate fund?
No, it's part of that
Because we need
money.
to treat ours the same way as we are everybody else's.
Right. All the department heads.
budget document is made available for public 10 days prior to the public hearing on the budget, so. I put penciled in December 23rd, but I think that'd give me more than 10 days.
Yeah, I think I got-
I think I can.
I can look to see what I put it in the paper. I already put it in there.
So January 7th, right, is a public hearing for the budget, so.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I got till like, say, the 26th or 27th deadline to get that to you. But I'll try to get it so we can talk about it on the 24th, so.
Yeah,
All right.
All right. Mark, I put it in there for this ad. Oh, I love it. So it's running on the 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st. It's gotta
Okay.
run 5 days.
5
So
days.
anything after the 23rd.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Oh,
but
okay.
it's not quite 10 days.
We're gonna
It's
have to make
more.
some kind of
more.
decisions next week, aren't we? If you gotta
Well, I hope.
run that stuff so many days before.
Well,
No,
when I give
that's-
that to them, I just run the ad.
The ad goes in for 5 days and then.
Yes.
it
Then that's
says-
10 days before the last day
Yeah.
to be available, yeah, for the public. They can request it. I always tell them, hey, this is not the final budget, right? The final budget will be adopted on the 7th. These figures could change. That's all.
So I do have till at least the 24th.
Yes.
23rd, 24th to get this. But I think by statute, I can also backtrack 10 days from 7. That
Right.
would be my final deadline. And that would be, I think, Friday, the 27th, so.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna get Dawn, if you guys are, not Dawn, Matt, if you guys are done for the day.
I think we're,
Did you have something, Greg? I see you come in.
It's not on the agenda, but the backflow for the courthouse is leaking very bad. Don't know if we can get parts for it, so we may be having to replace it. It's in the old jail, so
What was leaking?
backflow. It's a device.
Backflow for what? The plumbing or for,
Yeah, for plumbing. If the city loses water pressure, it doesn't let the water contaminate.
that's the same one we got up here that's making all the god awful noises?
Yeah.
So, is it back there making noises or it's,
No, it's drunk, it's running
Completely.
water, it's running water out the overflow. So, they're gonna try to find a rebuild kit, but if they can't, they'll have to replace the whole thing.
is that us or is that city?
Nope, it's us.
Where's that going to?
Where's it go to? It goes. it's
Coming from and going to? Can we,
It comes from the main water supply coming into the building after the meter, and then it goes to the courthouse. Piece of courthouse and the old jail.
just serve the whole building?
Yeah, it's a 3-inch pipe.
It is.
So that's just informing them of that.
Who's inconvenienced right now because of this?
Nobody, we're letting water, it's just a small, steady trickle out the drain, to a drain. But once they find that they can get the parts or we have to replace it, it's gonna affect the whole courthouse.
Affected in that they won't have any
They won't have
water?
any water probably for an hour or two.
Okay.
Just let us know, Melody know, and we'll get that notice out to everybody.
So this is payroll week, so we'll have
Okay.
a new
So-
list of the current employee
Yep.
salary schedule.
We're coming
this
back
week.
tomorrow
We'll
then for
start
anything?
Yes, at
off that.
1:30 for
The insurance. Not
Oh,
now.
yeah, well, I'll put it in a different
Okay.
calculation.
1:30
for
tomorrow.
insurance.
1:30 tomorrow.
Okay, that's the one you added yesterday,
Yes.
or this morning,
Kind of
yeah.
moved it from today to
Changed it
tomorrow.
from the 8 to the
Yeah.
1:30.
And as far as I know, we were trying to do just that on that agenda, so,
I'll leave that office.
so.
Okay.
We'll see you tomorrow, I
Anything
mean,
else on budget?
About 36.
Oh, there's
Going once,
lots
going
more, but
twice.
not today.
What's that?
There's a lot more on budget, but not
Yeah,
today.
yeah, right, for now,
Yeah,
yeah.
for
I
now.
make a motion, we stand in recess until 4:30.
Do we,
Judge, I'm sorry, did you want to talk to them?
No,
about-
I just,
Okay,
I did not know you would still be commissioning.
we're about done, so they're gonna go out of session.
Okay. Did you second my motion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.